Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bourne, Massachusetts, where the Bourne Braves will be hosting the Harwich Mariners in each team's second game of the 2019 Cape Cod Baseball League season. I'm Colin Casey, as always, joined by my broadcaster, Tyler Henry. And Tyler, we tried having game 2 yesterday out in Harwich. Things were looking good as the rain did clear up relatively early in the afternoon, but of course, the playing field not ready in time, so we had to postpone that game, which is currently scheduled to be actually made up tomorrow, weather permitting, of course. But now, this is the official game, too, at this point. Same lineups as yesterday. What's the mindset going into the game after that?
I mean, obviously, it's got to be just about getting on the right track. And the nice thing is this is early in the season. These are not necessarily the same rosters that we're going to be looking at come week 3, 4, or 5. But this is the time where you want to experiment with some different guys, see a much different lineup out there for Harwich today. And, you know, we'll see a couple different guys, including Connor Seckler, who will be out there on the bump, also helping out, similarly to Logan Allen, trying to get his team back on the winning side before things go to Team USA for him. But yeah, it's just about bouncing back, finding your footing again, and you mentioned weather permitting tomorrow. If that game is unable to be played due to rain conditions, Harwich is about to have their first 5 games on the road before they have anything at White House Field. So that'll be very interesting to see how the team responds to that. Plenty of road trips back to back to back. It can be a little bit tiring. See what the mindset is for the guys.
And, of course, that would also mean that their first home game would end up being that doubleheader on Father's Day against Falmouth in a rematch from the opener that was played. Now, of course, both these teams with coming off losses on Monday night, with Harwich falling to Falmouth 7-2 on the road. Also playing on the road was Bourne, and they lost to the Firebirds 2-0. It's obviously tough to lose the opener, but you've had a lot of time in between now, Tyler. What do they have to do to kind of get back on the right track here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a short memory, and again, I don't think that's going to be a big problem. A lot of these guys know the situation. They've been in spots like this before. I will say there's a big difference between starting your year off 1-1 and starting your year off 0-2. It kind of sets the tone for you going forward. So, you know, it's going to be important to get back into things, but, you know, they got a darn good pitcher out there on the bump in Connor Seckler. He has been highly scouted by plenty of different sources, including, as we mentioned before, Team USA. So, you know, I think it's just going to be a simple thing of getting back in the chute and getting a win here on the road in Bourne before, you know, you got another road game coming up here pretty soon as well.
Yeah, of course, it's a 44-game schedule, so every game really matters for these guys when it comes to making the playoffs and wanting to compete for a Cape Cod League championship. Let's take a look at the lineups here. So now on the road with this lineup, instead of originally at home, are the Harwich Mariners, coming in once again at 0-1 on the season. Steve Englert's bunch going out there, the same one that was scheduled to be yesterday. And leading off will be Joey Weimer, center fielder. In right field, Mike Ludwig batting second. Carson Seymour, first baseman, will bat third. In the cleanup spot, Nico Cavadas, who was at first base in the opener, moves to third base and bats fourth. Chris Lanzilli will bat fifth, playing left field. Eduardo Malinowski, the DH, batting sixth. Christian Fedko, playing against his brother's team tonight, will bat seventh and play second base. Jackson Greer behind the plate, catching and batting eighth. Rounding out the lineup is BC's Brian Dempsey. He will play short. As for the starting pitcher tonight, as you mentioned before, it'll be Connor Seckler on the mound for the Mariners. Now looking at Bourne, leading off for them, the center fielder Noah Bridges. Batting second, third baseman Cody Morissette. Alika Williams, the Arizona State product, will bat third and play short. A.J. Curtis, the first baseman, will bat cleanup. Designated hitter Shane Muntz at fifth.
Boys and girls,
Kyle Hess will play right field
Park.
and bat sixth. Jimmy Glowinski, second baseman, will bat seventh. Brendan Rivoli will bat eighth and play left. Jacob Campbell will round out the lineup, and he will catch. And on the mound for the Bourne Braves is West Springfield, Massachusetts native Nick Dumkowski, who pitched for the University of Hartford. Had a really good season in 2018, not as successful in 2019, but Tyler Dumkowski, of course, who also spent a summer with the Valley Blue Sox at the NECBL, looking to get off to a good start this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, back in 2018, he was the American East Rookie and Pitcher of the Year. First guy to do that. And was also first team all-conference. Bit of a tough 2019 season, but looking to bounce back here as some opening day festivities getting away here at Bourne. But yeah, no, he's definitely going to be a guy
Starting
that
lineups
is going to be
first,
tough to
visiting
go up
Harwich
against
Mariners.
for this Harwich
Leading
lineup.
off
Take a
and
look at
playing
his
center
numbers from the
field.
season to go a 4.97 ERA
16,
through 83
Joey
innings.
Beamer from the University of
Opponents just
Cincinnati.
hitting 276 off of him,
Batting
which
second
all things considered not bad, but
for
we've
Wake
seen the
Forest,
raw
number
potential. We've seen what
13,
this guy can do.
right
Obviously, a
fielder
big
Michael
2018 season
Ludwig.
back when he earned American East Rookie and
Batting
Pitcher
third
of the
from Wake
Year.
Forest,
So
the first
the question is,
baseman,
which Nick
number
Domkowski are we
35,
going to see
Bobby
out there on the bump
Seymour.
today? We'll find out here very soon,
Batting
but
fourth,
Harwich
the
will have a
third
tall
baseman
task
from
going up
Notre
against
Dame,
him in this lineup.
12, Nico
We're just a few
Cavaz.
moments away from game
fifth
time in the
from
first
Wake
pitch of
Forest,
game number 2
left
for the
fielder,
Mariners and the
number
Bourne
14,
Braves as well.
Chris
We're going to keep it
Lanzilli.
here at the ballpark. You can listen to the sounds
Batting
of the
sixth,
ballpark.
the
We'll take it
designated
right
hitter
back
from
after the
University of
anthem. You are
Pennsylvania,
listening
number
to
5,
Harwich Mariners
Eduardo
baseball here on
Malinowski.
YouTube TV.
Batting seventh, the second baseman from the University of Connecticut, number 37, Christian Petko. Batting eighth, the catcher from East Tennessee State, number 34, Jackson Greer. Singing tonight's anthem is Bournedale Elementary's first grade music class under the direction of music teacher Mrs. Michelle Bolin.
An absolutely phenomenal job done there from those kids for the national anthem on this home opener for the Bourne Braves as Harwich Mariners are in town visiting. And we are just a few moments away from the first pitch.
Going out tonight's first pitch is John Doran and Bob Dutch. Doran Park is named after John's father, and John provides constant support for the Braves. Bob
Couple of people out here throwing the first pitch, but in the meantime, Tyler,
2006.
Obviously with the rain out, I put air quotes around rain out for this last one. You got other teams that are a half a game ahead or half a game behind now due to them playing and the other teams not. I think there was actually two other rainouts yesterday, so only two games in action at all yesterday. How does that kind of play into the mindset of the players coming in here today? I'm sure they're not really paying too much attention here to the standings at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but let's just go ahead and, for argument's sake, set the standings. In case you are not aware, Chatham is actually the only undefeated team with 2 wins left in the league at 2-0. So in the East, they are followed up by Orleans and YD, both at 1-1, and then Brewster and Harwich currently at 0-1 with a chance to change that today. In the West, you've got Falmouth and Katuitt, Falmouth and Wareham, at 1-0, Katuitt at 1-1, and Hyannis and Bourne both at 0-1. So I think the biggest thing when it comes to the standings is just both of these teams looking to get that first win, the most important one, just to kind of get themselves back on the right foot. But, in the meantime, you got to remember, it's early in the season. Standings, not something you're really looking at right now. We're not at a point in the season where every single game has playoff implications. And keep in mind, 8 out of the 10 teams make the playoffs, partially because you can have a different roster in 3 weeks than the one you have right now. So, I think that's kind of just in the back of the mind of the players. But, yeah, no, it's definitely good to get off to that early lead. It's easier to hold a lead than it is to chase somebody from behind. Other games going on today, Orleans will be visiting Brewster. Falmouth heads to Chatham. YD heads to Wareham. And Hyannis will host Katuitt. Here it's Bourne hosting Harwich. And finally, players on the field get some warm-ups in before first pitch.
A packed day of action here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Once again, pitching for the Bourne Braves tonight is Nick Dumkowski from West Springfield, Massachusetts. Dumkowski spent some time once again with the Valley Blue Sox team that went on to win their second consecutive league championship and their second in all of the franchise. So it's definitely a nice little dynasty that they're building out in Holyoke. But looking at Dumkowski, here in America East Rookie and Pitcher of the Year back in 2018. This year, he had a 3-6 record at U-Hart, a 4.97 ERA, and 83 1/3 innings pitched. Started 14 games, and opponents hit 276 against the 6'2 lefty. Of course, U-Hart, very famous for having a Hall of Famer go to that school out in Connecticut, Jeff Bagwell. Originally drafted by the Boston Red Sox, and in a very tough trade for Sox fans to remember, was dealt to the Astros, where he had a historic career, 449 career home runs, and now a Hall of Famer in Cooperstown.
And do you remember what he was traded for?
He's a relief pitcher, I believe.
Yep.
Leading
Did
off
not
the
pan
Mariners,
out.
the center fielder from Cincinnati, number 16.
Can't quite remember the
Joey
name.
Weimer.
But regardless, we are underway as Joey Weimer digs in. And Harwich looking to strike first here in the top of the first inning. Domkowski from the windup. And his first pitch is fouled straight to the backstop, 0-1.
Yep, Joey Weimer getting his first hacks here. He'll be leading off out in center field. And again, a very different lineup today for Harwich than what we saw a few days ago at Falmouth.
Perfect day for baseball here on the campus of Upper Cape Tech. The 0-1. Low in the dirt, 70 degrees, and some light clouds in the sky, but otherwise perfect day.
Yep, we get to experience this today and then expected to rain a whole lot tomorrow.
Right.
So got to enjoy this while we can.
A 1-1 upstairs on the fastball, 2-1.
Yeah, right off the bat, you can see just trying to locate is Domkowski, and, you know, pretty good first pitch, but since then, not wanting to give Weimer anything too close to the zone. Big, intimidating stance from the righty.
And the 2-1 is high, 3-1. Weimer, a sophomore from Cincinnati, 263 batting average, 6 long balls, 28 runs batted in. A very successful season for the Bearcats, but here comes the 3-1 from Domkowski. Off speeds in there, nice backdoor curveball, and the count is now full.
Yep, and not a bad move that time. Obviously the green light on for Weimer, but a pitch that started outside of the zone, broke its way back in late. That's the kind of stuff you have to have if you're going to pitch around a lineup like this.
Here's the payoff pitch to Weimer. Swung on and missed in the dirt for strike 3. The throw down to first is in time. That was Campbell throwing it over to A.J. Curtis, 1 down.
Well, through one batter, reminiscent of the game we saw at Falmouth just a few days ago. A lot of strikeouts in that game, if I'm not mistaken, over 20 between the two teams. So we'll see if we get a similar outing to what we saw a few days ago there, or if the offense kind of comes to life.
So Mike Ludwig will dig in, the left-hander. And the first pitch from Nick Domkowski. Swung on and missed very late on the fastball for strike 1. Ludwig from Ashburn, Virginia, played at Wake Forest. One of a handful of players on this team played for the Demon Deacons. The 0-1. Outside, 1-1.
Yep, and Ludwig, not in the starting lineup yesterday, but one of the better bats on this team. Take a look at some of his numbers from a season ago. Hit .306, 12 extra base hits to add to that. 33 walks to just 40 strikeouts. Not a bad ratio there either.
Ground ball through the left side, right past the shortstop for a base hit. And Ludwig with a 1-out single for the Mariners.
Well, that's the way you got to get things started. And that was kind of what this team could not do a few days ago. Just manufacturing hits, moving the guys over. We'll see if they can continue as Bobby Seymour comes up to the dish now.
So Seymour
now batting the first baseman from Wake Forest,
making
number
his
35,
debut
Bobby Seymour.
For the Mariners. Did not play in the opener.
And we'll get back-to-back Demon Deacons here. Another Wake Forest product.
Another lefty as well.
Yep.
Decent lead at first from Ludwig. Domkowski's got a pretty good pickoff move at first. But he delivers on the first pitch, and it is a curveball in there for strike 1.
Yep, 9 guys from Wake Forest in the Cape Cod League this season, 3 of which will be playing here at Harwich. The others kind of scattered throughout the league, but always nice to get a couple of teammates to be able to play together and put them back-to-back in the lineup, no less.
From the stretch, Domkowski, the 0-1. Ripped foul into the dugout, 0-2.
Talk about a dangerous hitter. Seymour voted the ACC Player of the Year last year. So a pretty phenomenal season for him. His freshman year hit 92 RBIs. That was the most hit by a Division I player since Buster Posey. Finished with 93 back in 2008.
Yeah, out of high school, he was ranked the 14th best first baseman in all the country. Open stance for Seymour. And Domkowski delivers the 0-2, fouled off to the left once again.
And you can really see, I mean, again, right off the bat, Domkowski is going to try to throw that curveball. It seems like his go-to pitch, trying to locate that on the outside corner that time. First time he brings him inside out. Second time he takes him inside out as well, but a pitch that breaks out of the zone, and all Seymour can do is foul it away.
Ludwig stole six bags at Wake Forest last year. And he's got a decent lead here, but Domkowski hasn't checked once, and he's got an 0-2 count once again. From the stretch, the pitch is a curveball that misses high. 1-2.
Yeah, you can kind of see Ludwig. I mean, he's leaning towards first base. He's aware of that pickoff move that Domkowski has. Definitely doesn't want to get picked off that way. So he does have plenty of speed, but we'll see if he decides to take the risk and try to steal on him.
Campbell's got a solid arm behind the plate. The 1-2. Fouled off once again.
And this is what we needed to see more of in that first game. Good long at-bats, trying to extend it out. A lot of 3, 4, 5-pitch strikeouts back in that first game against Falmouth. So right off the bat, a little bit of an improvement here. Bobby Seymour really making Domkowski work for it out here.
Yeah, Domkowski with the Blue Sox had a lot of he had a lot of good stuff with the Blue Sox. Got a high number of strikeouts, but he did have issues going deep into ball games. The 1-2 misses low. 2-2.
And early in the season, that's not as big of a concern just because you want to see a lot of different pitchers. Take a look at, Chatham's head coach, a guy that has a plan through the first couple weeks of the year. He's going to use 3 pitchers. Each one gets 3 innings, and you kind of go from there. But this is the kind of season where you don't need to go quite as far in. But later in the year, if Domkowski's still around, which I'd imagine he would be, it's going to be a guy that you're going to need to get some more quality innings out of.
Ludwig at first. Scoreless here in the top of the first between Harwich and Bourne. The pitch fouled off once again. Another foul ball from Seymour as he's really battled throughout this at-bat, but he has been behind that fastball from Domkowski.
Yeah, he's been behind it, doing a pretty good job just getting a piece, though. And, he can kind of, you see him shaking his head in frustration a little bit, but, he knows what he's looking for. He knows where he's got to put it. Just needs to catch up.
It's an even 300 feet down the right field line here, but it does jut out very similarly like Fenway Park out to 360 further down the right field line. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it is an inside-out swing to third. Could be a double play ball for 2nd to 1. On to first, return throw is in time, and Seymour grounds into an inning-ending double play, and the side is retired. We head to the home half of the first inning, scoreless from Bourne. No score as we head to the bottom of the first inning. The Mariners able to get their first hit of the game from Mike Ludwig, but he was quickly dispatched in a double play ball to end the inning.
Leading
so now
off for the Braves, the center fielder from
it'll be
Wilmington,
Connor Seckler, the righty,
Noah
on the mound
Bridges.
here for the Mariners, and Noah Bridges will dig in to lead off for the Braves. Bridges. And the windup and the pitch from Seckler is in there for strike 1. A nice fastball.
Yep, and Seckler, a guy that, you're going to see a lot of that fastball slider change, a little bit of a 3-pitch guy. And, again, he's got the velocity. You see the fastball there as he throws another one in there for strike 2. So very quickly going to work here on Noah Bridges, trying to work against a team that failed to score even a run in their first game against Orleans.
Seckler really uses a reliever at Missouri State, and he gets Bridges on 3 pitches, strikes him out looking, and there is one away.
I mean, again, very quickly, not wasting any time. Looked like he went with a slider there for the strikeout, and he's not going to waste a whole lot of time. I mean, that's kind of his game. You know how relievers like to work. Sometimes they get thrown into the fire and have to work quickly. It's exactly the way Connor Seckler is working here as a starter today.
He had 6 saves at Missouri State, so now Cody Morissette, third baseman, swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back, 0-1.
Take a look at Seckler's numbers from last season. 26 appearances. You mentioned most of those being used out of the bullpen, a 4.4 ERA, and this is pretty good. 56 strikeouts to 32 walks. So needs to get that walk number down a little bit, but all things considered, pretty solid outings.
That one misses 1-1. Morissette went to Exeter High School in New Hampshire. And he swings in. It's a high pop-up on the third base side. It is out of play. 1-2.
But another 2-strike count here and an opportunity for Seckler to get another quick out here. You know, we saw that out of Logan Allen the other night, working very quickly. Didn't have to get too high into his pitch count and was able to give 5 full to the Mariners before the bullpen came in.
Morissette actually won back-to-back state titles as a junior and a senior. Went in New Hampshire. Here's the 1-2 from Seckler. It's a tapper foul. As looking to jump on that was Jackson Greer, but ball trickles foul.
Yep, and not just a one-sport athlete either. 3-year varsity football player and also scored on varsity for the basketball team all 4 years. 1,300 points for him. So a very well-rounded guy, but obviously with the bat in his hand where he feels the most confident.
1-2 is in the dirt. On deck is Alika Williams.
And we haven't really seen Seckler pull the string too early here.
And he does right there, actually, right on cue for a called third strike. So it's 2 batters and 2 strikouts looking for Connor Seckler, 2 down.
Coming up now, Alika Williams, and this will be a very tough out, a guy that I had the pleasure of watching all season long at Arizona State, and on a team that had as much power as they did with guys like Hunter Bishop and Spencer Torkelson in the lineup. He spent a majority of the year hitting cleanup.
Williams also returning after playing for Bourne last year, and he takes the first pitch right down the middle for strike 1.
Yep, saw Seckler go back with a change there.
All Pac-12 honorable mention as that pitch misses low, 1-1.
Yep, Williams drafted in the 32nd round by the New York Yankees in the amateur draft a few years ago, back in 2017.
1-1 fouled straight back, and you know Williams with a 4.05 batting average when down 1-2. That really reminds me of another shortstop in the majors, Xander Bogaerts, a really good 2-strike hitter. The 1-2 hit well out towards center with a 1-2 count, but right there to make the catch is Weimer, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for the Harwich Mariners and Connor Seckler. After 1, we are scoreless from Bourne. It'll be Nico Cavadas leading things off for the Mariners in the top of the second inning.
Leading off of Harwich, the third baseman, number 12, Nico Cavadas.
A lot of lefties in this Mariners lineup, the third consecutive. He will face off against Domkowski, who had a solid first inning, got a much-needed double play ball. And the first pitch from Domkowski is a high fastball swung on and missed for strike one.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I mean, convenient for us that there are no changes in the lineup from what yesterday's game would have been to today, but knowing how competitive both of these coaches are, not making any adjustments based on the opposing pitcher, they're willing to stick with the lineup they had out there.
And Domkowski gets another fastball behind a Mariner hitter as it's hit well down the left field line, but foul. 0-2.
You know, it's interesting. Some guys, when they come into a league like this, they can transition to the wooden bat very quickly. Some guys even use it at the collegiate level. But for a lot of guys, making that transition from the aluminum to the wood takes a couple of games to get used to what you got in your hands.
0-2 up and away on the fastball. Cavadas from Notre Dame was on the Kalamazoo Growlers in the Northwoods League last year. And the 1-2 is a curveball in the dirt.
Yeah, a lot of guys from the Northwoods League making their transition. This is kind of the ideal summer destination for a lot of guys. So you see a lot of guys from, you got the Northwoods League, you got the California Collegiate League, different leagues strewn across the country. They're all getting their crack here on the East Coast now.
Cavadas hit .308 in that league last summer. Here's the 2-2, and it is popped up foul in play, and an easy catch made over at third base by Morissette, one away.
Yeah, it really feels like Domkowski's settled in a little bit here. Struggled to locate throughout those first couple of batters, but since giving up the hit to Ludwig, he's looked pretty good. 2 up, 2 down. I mean, obviously no big feat there, but he's locating a lot better than he did through those first 2 batters.
So Lansley, the righty, Chris Lansley, will dig in with 1 away. Stoneham Mass native takes the first pitch up and away. A couple of Mass natives here facing off. Lansley drafted just a couple of weeks ago by the San Francisco Giants in the 39th round. And that pitch misses, so it's 2-0.
Yep, Lansley, another guy that has one of those families. His brother Cam played at UMass Lowell right here in Massachusetts. A lot of athletes in the family.
Another Wake Forest guy as well. Here's the 2-0. Fouled straight back. Just over our heads, 2-1.
I was gonna say, if you're a Wake Forest fan and you're tuning in, you're not listening to a Wake Forest broadcast, although it may seem like it. A couple of different guys scattered in there. A couple guys from Notre Dame in the mix as well.
Here's the 2-1. Ground ball heading towards short. Williams throws across the diamond in time for out number 2.
Yeah, pretty typical play from Williams. That's what we're used to seeing him do all year. And now an opportunity for another guy making his Harwich debut today, Eduardo Malinowski, at least for the 2019 season. Sorry.
Malinowski, the DH in this one, as Coach Engler with a lot of righties towards the middle to back part of the lineup here. Domkowski shakes off the catcher. Now he delivers. And his first pitch, it's a curveball missing inside and low for ball 1.
A lot of movement on that curveball. It's a big, slow, sweeping hook, something you don't see a whole lot of guys throw, because if you don't locate that in the right spot, it's going to get taken the other way in an awful big hurry.
And a ground ball right back up the middle. Domkowski will field it himself. And a throw on to first is in time. So a 1-2-3 inning for Nick Domkowski and the Braves. And after 1.5, we remain scoreless.
Off the roofs of the dugouts, away from the batting cages.
Welcome back here to Bourne. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball. I'd like to remind you that coverage of the Mariners is brought to you by Cape Cod Healthcare. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open extra hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians, expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
It'll be A.J. Curtis batting cleanup and leading things off here in the bottom of the second after a 1-2-3 inning from Connor Seckler. His first pitch is in there for strike one. Curtis, the only JUCO transfer on the Braves this season, and the second pitch will miss high, 1-1.
Yep, see quite a few of those guys around the league, but not so many on Bourne's roster this season.
Started out at Olone College and then moved to Cal State Fullerton. He's a junior, as his ground ball to third. Throw is a long one, but a nice stretch over at first by Seymour, and Cavadas, the one making the play over at third for out number one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you always get a little bit nervous when he has to come off the bag or come near the bag like that, but able to make the stretch.
Shane Muntz.
And now Shane Muntz will step to the dish, one of the only Wake Forest guys, not on the Harwich roster. We mentioned 9 of them in the league, 3 on Harwich's roster. A.J. Curtis on the Bourne roster.
And the first pitch to Muntz is slider on the outside corner. Great location there from Seckler, and that's what we've really seen so far. He's been locating his pitches well and has been blowing the fastball by some of these Braves hitters. The 0-1. That one just misses on the inside corner.
Well, when you watch his delivery, he's very slow on the windup, but the second he decides to come home, it's a quick snap motion. A lot of downhill velocity on that, and that's what lets him get so much on the fastball.
That one's in there, 1-2.
Yep, comes with another fastball, this one right around the chest level. Another guy from Wake Forest on this roster, in addition to A.J. Curtis, Shane Muntz. In addition to Shane Muntz.
1-2 is outside, 2-2. Muntz, a catcher, but also a relief pitcher. A premium two-way player, according to his head coach at Wake Forest, Tom Walter. Fastball misses up and away, so now the count is full to Muntz.
What I meant to say earlier, the other guy, Ryan Susik, is the other Wake Forest guy, so a couple for Bourne.
Payoff pitch is on the corner, strike 3 called. Muntz can't believe it. It was that slider that started out the at-bat against Muntz. Seckler goes right back to it, and he records his third strikeout of the game.
Yep, took him off speed, and 2 of the 3 strikeouts looking so far. Similar pitch, similar spot. He has been tying hitters up with that the first time through the order.
5 up, 5 down for the Mariners so far, and now Kyle Hess will try to break that spell for Bourne. And he lays off the first pitch low.
Yep, Kyle Hess, another one of those guys with a good pedigree. Had a cousin get drafted by the Reds and play 8 years in the bigs. Hess is also a 4-year varsity starter at Donegal High School.
That one's in there, 1-1.
And again, Seckler wasting no time as he goes back into his windup for another delivery here.
In there, 1-2, and now Seckler's got Hess on the ropes, looking for strikeout number 4.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see him go with a high heater here. Well ahead, haven't seen the fastball this at bat.
And the pitch misses low, 1-2. I'm trying to think if Kyle Hess is related to David Hess. That might be the cousin that they're referring to. The 1-2. In there, strike 3, and Seckler is on fire through 2 innings. He's recorded all 6 outs and 6 batters, including 4 strikeouts, and all 4 of them have been looking. After 2 full, it is Mariners nothing, Bourne nothing. You are listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live. Christian Fedko will lead things off for the Harwich Mariners to begin the third inning, and they will look to try to solve Nick Domkowski. They did get a single in the first inning from Mike Ludwig, but it was quickly erased on an inning-ending double play, and since then they have not gotten any hits. So Fedko will try to spark things, and what better way to, or what better player to try to start things than Fedko, who hit a crucial eighth-inning go-ahead home run against Coastal Carolina to send his team to the NCAA Regional Final just a few short weeks ago.
Yeah, Fedko, a guy that's definitely used to hitting in high-pressure situations. Not that this is one of those,
right,
but he is a clutch guy. I mean, when you need him to step up and make a hit, more than likely he's going to find a way to get it done for you.
Lefty against righty, and the first pitch to the right-hander, Fedko misses outside.
Not only did he hit that against Coastal Carolina to help them in the regional final, but he also had a pretty big hit. In one inning, hit 2 grand slams, tying a national high school record during his high school career.
In the dirt for ball 2, the only major league player to ever do that is Fernando Tatis. I believe that was when he was on the Dodgers, but
Dodgers Fernando Tatis.
very, very rare to see. The 2-0. In the dirt, 3-0.
A lot of guys that kind of, you forget that who he play for segment that they always have. Always have one or two that'll trip you up. Forget about little things like that.
Tatis' son, of course, a big-time prospect, just making his major league debut this season with the San Diego Padres. And that is a 4-pitch walk to Fedko, so leadoff man on for the Mariners, and now it'll be Jackson Greer, the catcher.
Well, and that's kind of been the theme, too. We saw Cavada swing at one of the earlier pitches in the count, but the first at bat to Weimer, he kind of loaded him up and then came back and got him with a strikeout. Here, he loads him up and then walks him. So Fedko heads to first, and now Jackson Greer gets his opportunity here. First time hitting for the Mariners this season.
So Domkowski back to the stretch, and the first pitch is out. He was out in front of it, but he's able to yank it past the third baseman for a base hit to left. And now 2 on, nobody out for the Mariners.
Yep, big situation coming up here, and now Brian Dempsey will have an opportunity. One of the few guys from from Monday's starting lineup, back in the lineup again today.
Some solid production his first time through the lineup from the bottom of the order for the Mariners. And in that one, Greer was way out in front of that pitch, but he was able to slow his hands down enough and just drive it out over the third baseman's head for a base hit.
Well, at that point, you're not going to rip it, so good on him for being able to just kind of poke it into the gap between the 5-6 hole over there on the left side.
So it'll be Dempsey. 2 on, nobody out, and bluffing to second on the pickoff is Domkowski. Dempsey, in 2019 with the Boston College Eagles, started all 58 games, 295 average, 3 homers, 37 ribbies. And the first pitch is right past him on the fastball for strike 1.
Yeah, he got off to a bit of a slow start on Monday, 0-for-3 with a strikeout, looking to bounce back here and have an impact with 2 on, nobody out. Ideal situation, and even if he can't find his way on, be able to flip the book back to the top as Joey Weimer, the leadoff man, stands on deck.
Deep side from Domkowski. Here's the 0-1, just outside, 1-1.
I was going to say, I don't know. That was awfully close to the zone, and the home plate umpire sees it the Harwich way on that one. So count now even a 1-1 as you mentioned. Dempsey gifted a second chance here.
Another long look in for Domkowski as he's shaken off his catcher a couple of times. Now he gets the sign that he wants. And the 1-1. A check swing grounder to the first base side. This will basically work as a sacrifice bunt. And so both runners move up with Dempsey out at first. So now it's second and third with 1 away, and a big chance for Harwich to capitalize with the top of the order coming up.
Definitely not what he was going for, but that's a good result if you're Harwich. 1 away, runners on second and third, 2 guys in scoring position, and big Joey Weimer stepping in here. Struck out his first time up, but this is a pretty big spot. Put one in the gap somewhere, and you got a 2-run lead.
Yeah, Weimer was able to work the count full and then swung at a pitch in the dirt for strike 3. First pitch in this at-bat is right down the middle for strike 1. Infield at normal depth here, so they're willing to trade a run for an out. Domkowski, the pitch. Chopper to third base side. Let's see if they go home with it. Barehanded play. The throw is not going to be in time, and a run scores. It's an RBI infield single for Joey Weimer, and the Mariners take a 1-0 lead.
And oddly enough, on that play, obviously you can't get caught running the other way, but Jackson Greer holds up at second. So runners at first and second here for Mike Ludwig.
So Ludwig looking to add some insurance here with perhaps a ball in the gap. With Weimer's speed, he should be able to score on a ball in the gap from first base. Domkowski, gathering his thoughts, now steps in on the mound. Looked strong through the first 2 innings, but kind of in a jam here. Checks the runner at second twice, and his first pitch is fouled off the catcher's mask, Campbell.
And nobody's really ripped them too hard. I mean, he walked Fedko, the run that scored. Greer, again, kind of just had to poke one to the left-hand side. And then a little, token sacrifice bunt. And then Weimer there just getting some weak contact down the third base line. So not even a really solid hit, but it's worked to the Mariners' advantage as they have a 1-0 lead.
Greer, the runner at second. Weimer at first. And that's going to be a slider missing outside, even the count at 1.
Big part of the order coming up here. Talk about Ludwig, Seymour, Cavadas, Lansley if they can get to him. Big chance here for Harwich to put some more runs on.
Big lefty Domkowski with the pitch. And that one sliced foul back towards the school. 1-2.
Another good at-bat here by Ludwig, though. Just kind of getting a piece of it. That's what we saw back in his first at-bat, and he was able to work his way into a single.
Ludwig once had a 5-walk game in a come-from-behind victory against UNC Greensboro. So he's known to have a lot of patience. The 1-2 is a chopper to the right side. Going to be a tough play to cover. No one's there. Domkowski a little late getting to first, and it's going to be another infield single, and now we'll load the bases for Bobby Seymour.
Well, that's just, I don't know. Domkowski looked like he wasn't really hustling over there to first. Almost looked like he got a little bit lost, wondering whether or not Curtis was going to be able to get back to the first base bag. So that'll load him up here for Harwich, and a big opportunity for Bobby Seymour. Bases loaded, 1 away. Everything but a double play here should result in a run for Harwich. That or a strikeout would be disastrous.
Unfortunately for Seymour, that's exactly what happened in his last at-bat. Ground ball to third was a routine double play ball to get Domkowski out of the first inning. But now he's got a chance to drive in some runs and break this lead open. First pitch he sees is in the dirt for ball 1.
Well, that's arguably what he does best, drive guys in. He had just 8 shy of 100 RBIs last season. 92 for him at Wake Forest. A couple of his teammates sitting out there on the pond right now looking for a free ticket home.
Greer on third, Weimer on second, and Ludwig on first, with 1 man out and a 1-0 lead for the Mariners. Ground ball to first, glove for throw on to second, and that's all they're going to get as another run scores. It's going to be a fielder's choice, and the Mariners lead 2-0.
Yep, not bad. They're able to cut Ludwig off, but again, nobody home at first. No way they were going to get that throw fast enough. And another run comes across to score.
It was Greer coming home. Weimer advances to third, so now runners at the corners with 2 away, and Nico Cavadas at the plate. So Domkowski, I'm sure, given the fact that it was bases loaded, 1-out situation, wouldn't mind getting out of this inning with only a couple of runs surrendered. But he'll have to get through Cavadas, and the first pitch to him is in the dirt for ball 1.
And again, still nothing really hard hit so far. We haven't really seen a line shot or anything deep in the gap. It's just been these little dorkers, if you will, that's allowed Harwich to take a 2-0 lead.
Cavadas, another guy who won a state championship in baseball, state of Pennsylvania. That's in the dirt, 2-0.
Yep, always good to see the guys that can translate their talent to the next level. In case you're wondering, here at Bourne, we've got a brick backstop that comes up about, I'd say, at 4 or 5 feet. The rest is all netting. So on a passed ball, pretty good chance that's going to take a skip back to the catcher. It's going to be tough to advance home on a ball that misses down at the dirt.
So actually it was Penn High School he won a state championship with in Indiana. A lot of states involved there. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss for strike one.
Little geography quiz.
Cavadas, of course, also going to South Bend at Notre Dame. Had a solid season with the Fighting Irish, 274 average, 12 home runs. Here's the 2-1. High fly ball out towards left field, sending the left fielder Rivoli back, and he's able to make the catch that retires the side, but not before Harwich scores a pair, and after 2.5, the Mariners lead the Braves 2-0. You're listening to Harwich Mariners baseball on YouTube TV. Bottom of the third inning is Connor Seckler retired the first 6 Braves he's faced. He's looking to continue that trend to have 3 perfect innings
Leading off for the Braves,
in his Harwich Mariners debut.
Yep, similar to what we saw out of Logan Allen. And again, we've compared the two. They'll be on the same team here in about a week. Once again, a different team is the first pitch.
Is ripped to center field. That coming off the bat of Tommy Glowinski, but unfortunately right at center fielder Weimer for out number 1.
Yeah, yesterday Logan Allen faced the minimum through 5 full innings, and throughout that period had 8 strikeouts. Or 7 strikeouts, sorry, to his credit. So right now, Seckler's, on pace to get just about that. He's already got 4 strikeouts through 3 1/3. Now he'll face Brendan Rivoli.
And the first pitch to Rivoli's in the dirt for a ball. Shadow's starting to creep in here. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit as well. The 1-0 is up and away. Seckler definitely moves at a quick pace. Very few seconds in between pitches. Here's the windup, and that one is just low. It'll be 3-0.
Yeah, Rivoli, one of just 2 guys with a hit during the opening day start for the Bourne Braves in a scoreless outing.
Taking 3-0, it's there at the knees for strike 1.
Yep, going to have the green light turned off every single time. Rivoli will watch that one go by, and now Seckler goes back to work very quickly here.
And he gets him to swing at a nasty breaking ball in the dirt, bearing in, and it's a full count.
And that's a pretty risky pitch, but he puts it in a spot where Rivoli thinks maybe he's going to catch a low fastball and turn on it. Drops off the table before it's too late.
Payoff pitch is hit high in the air out towards right field. That ball's carrying back, but it's going to hang up plenty for Weimer to catch another one out there. The third play is made in this game, and that is out number 2.
Yep, Weimer's starting to get some work out there, and aside from the 5-3 roll on A.J. Curtis back in the second inning, every single out has either been a fly out to center or a strikeout so far.
Yeah, it looked like Rivoli got his pitch there, but just got a little bit under it. A lot of hang time on that fly ball. Jacob Campbell rounding out the Braves order, and with 2 away, he swings at the first pitch. That one's going out towards right field, and an easy catch made by Ludwig. And it's 9 up, 9 down for Seckler with 4 strikeouts to go along with it. And after 3 innings of play, it is 2-0 Harwich. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on YouTube TV.
Back to baseball at Bourne. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball here on YouTube TV. And I'd like to say thank you once again for tuning in. 2-0 is our score. Harwich leading it through 3 full innings. Domkowski coming up for a 4th frame of work, and he'll face off against Lansley, Malinowski, and Christian Fedko. Start things off. A pretty productive inning. Colin back in the 3rd, and I know that they were not the best hits you could ask for, but if they can string together hits like that, it's going to be easy going through the rest of this game.
Yeah, and that's also what you alluded to earlier, is that the contact wasn't really hit all that hard, but sometimes that's just all you'll take as long as it puts runs on the board. And it's tough for Domkowski because he has had some good location in this one. He had the one walk, I believe, to Fedko, but other than that, he's been putting it right in the zone. Just hasn't been getting the results that he's wanted to. Let's see if he can get through a clean inning here in the 4th.
Yep, first pitch from him is going to be taken foul down the right field line. Sometimes just as important to get in a bit of a rhythm, something that Harwich kind of struggled to do back in that first game, but they're able to string together a couple of infield singles, take advantage of a walk, and then a fielder's choice to bring the other run in. Sometimes just get on a little bit of a roll and keep that momentum going, as this pitch took a little bit off of that one and missed outside. Count now 1-1.
And the shadows aren't quite over the mound, so it's not really factoring into the hitter, luckily, but if it was a little bit further, that could really impact the hitter's vision at the plate, especially with 2 good pitchers on the mound like Seckler and Domkowski.
Lansley will watch a curveball miss high. Yeah, the shadows could definitely play out a little bit further as time goes on, but for the time being, not too much of a factor. Lansley digs in. Here's the 2-1 from Domkowski. A big swing and a miss. Once again, going with a bit of a curveball there, and breaks just enough off to get Lansley to swing on top of it.
And I like Domkowski going with the primary fastball here. It seems like it's been working. He's been getting either late contact or no contact at all when he's been delivering it.
2-2 pitch. There's the fastball, and they'll say just inside. So the count now worked full here for Chris Lansley. Very patient hitter. Only 23 walks for him in his 2019 season. Definitely no stranger to the strikeout. 50 for him back in 2019. Looking to improve those numbers. Payoff pitch. High fastball that misses, and Lansley will trot his way on down to first. Same way this 3rd inning began, with a leadoff walk.
Yeah, definitely not the way you want to start things off for Domkowski. As I was mentioning before, I was solid as control was there, but credit to Lansley with a lengthy at-bat. He was down in the count and was able to coax a walk to lead off the inning.
So Eduardo Malinowski stepping up to the plate. PA going with Barnamolowski. Little interesting difference there as the first pitch misses a high fastball. You know, it's not an easy job.
Nope.
Especially if you don't get a pronunciation guide before the game. So Malinowski will stand back in with a 1-0 count.
As someone who's called a lot of hockey, I can attest to that.
Absolutely. Throw over to first just to keep the runner honest. Yeah, in hockey, I mean, you got to deal with crazier names than that. I mean, at least with baseball, you get most of them are pretty easy to go with. I mean, you can get there.
Right.
Hockey, sometimes I look at some of those names in the roster, and I'm just like, oh boy, swing and a miss. We'll even the count at 1-1. Malinowski coming in as the DH today. Spent last summer with the Riverhead Tomcats out of the Hamptons League. Trying to refine his skills and clearly accomplished just that. A pretty impressive 2019 campaign. An OPS over 1. And that's earned him a spot in the Cape Cod League. Swing and a miss once again. The count to 1-1 as Domkowski came home with a fastball.
Yeah, there's another solid fastball from Domkowski. He's been able to locate that pitch well. Off speed, he's kind of been struggling with either short-arming it or just kind of missing inside. Those are the 2 areas he's really been missing. But the fastball, for the most part, has been solid.
He's got a pitch to waste. We'll see if he does just that. The 1-2 takes a look. Runner takes off, and it'll be fouled back to the screen. So Lansley will have to trot back to first.
Coach Steve Engler getting a little aggressive here with the hit and run on. I mean, it's definitely a great play, though, if you can get that ball down, especially on a softly hit ball out to the outfield. You can easily get your runner from first to third with that running start.
Well, we saw that one time yesterday, or sorry, I keep saying yesterday, Monday, used in that game against Falmouth. They went with a hit and run. Aside from that, no stolen bases for the Mariners throughout the course of that game. Once again, it'll be a 1-2 count. Domkowski comes home, high fastball. Actually, it looked like took something off of that one. And it's fouled back to the screen once again.
Yeah, this at-bat's kind of reminded me a lot of Bobby Seymour's at-bat in the first inning where he fouled off a ton of pitches, but wasn't able to get to the 3-ball, 2-strike count. He was stuck on that single ball, and then it led to a double play. So it's important to keep that discipline there if you're Fedco.
Lansley with about a 2-stride lead, and that'll prompt a throw over to first. Demkowski trying to keep him close. Second time he's thrown over during this at-bat. As Eduardo Malinowski continuing to go to work out there. Played on a UPenn Quaker team that just missed the postseason. It's just above 500 for their record in conference. He fouls this to the screen in front of us.
Definitely not a kind ballpark to lefties. Well, I guess it's neutral, I should say. I mean, 330 to left's quite the poke. And for the righties, it's if you can yank it down the line, 300, but then 360 out in extreme right field.
Yeah, definitely unparalleled dimensions here at Doran Park in Bourne. Once again, we're ready with the 1-2. Lansley takes off, and it'll be fouled away again. So Harwich goes with a hit and run for a second time. The count's still 1-2, but a good quality at bat here for Malinowski. Give him credit. They're working the pitch count up here for Domkowski.
And again, that's something that a lot of teams can try to take advantage of. And Domkowski, when he was in the NECBL, driving that pitch count up so he can get to the bullpen early.
Malinowski's had a couple of pitches that would have been balls. He's elected to foul them off instead, swinging at anything close. Here's the 1-2, big sweeping hook. Once again, high out of the zone, and it'll be fouled away behind the screen.
Some cheers from the Mariners dugout about this gutsy at-bat so far from Fedco, fighting off a lot of tough pitches.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think the way to go here is probably going to be just to throw the gas. I mean, we've seen Domkowski's fastball. That's kind of been his big strikeout pitch. He's thrown it a couple times, but the last two have come off speed. 1-2 pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss. He goes with the fastball down in the zone, and that'll be one away here with a runner on first.
Now batting the second baseman from
I think I said Fedco there. I meant to say Malinowski. But regardless, a really good at-bat as Fedco will now step in and try to at least move up the runner on first, Lansley.
Yep, Fedco got the rally started with a leadoff walk back in the third. He was able to come home and score on the Joey Weimer RBI infield single. Slow roller down the third base line. Lansley takes a standard lead. He will take off, stumbles, but he'll be able to get there in time as Campbell can't secure the ball behind the dish. That was a little bit strange and a bit concerning as Lansley took off and looked like he kind of lost his footing there for a second. But no throw, and he's aboard at second base.
He's got a big smile on his face, so I think he just kind of stumbled.
You know he'll hear the sniper comments from the
Oh,
dugout. Yeah. Got to deal with that for the next couple days in practice. So Christian Fedco now stands in with an 0-1 count. Domkowski pitching out of the stretch. Runner in scoring position here with one away from the Mariners. They lead it 2-0 here in the visiting half of the fourth.
Kind of surprising to see Lansley go in motion as many times as he was, hit and run or not. He only stole 3 bags in 55 games last year.
Yeah, definitely not a guy renowned for his speed, but certainly in a situation where you have the hit and run, ideally if you pull it off correctly, it's not going to be that big of an issue. The count's still 0-1. Domkowski checks second, comes home, and a curveball in the dirt. That'll bounce back to the screen, and Lansley's going to turn for home. This will be a close play at the plate. He slides face first, and they're going to say he just got him. So how about that? For whatever reason, Campbell didn't go to retrieve the ball. It skidded back to the backstop. And rather than going back to get it, he just kind of stood there. Lansley turned the corner. Unfortunately for the Bourne Braves, Domkowski was able to come home in time to secure the ball and get the tag put on. But that could have been disastrous.
Very fortunately. That was a bang-bang play at the plate. A tough call for the umpire. I do think he got it right. It was very close, but I think the glove from Domkowski was on the arm just before the hand touched the plate.
Well, the throw was definitely there in time. The only question would have been whether the tag was secured. But I agree. I think he got the call right there as Fedco fouls one off to the right-hand side. But I like the gutsy base running. You mentioned Lansley, not a guy that typically is that aggressive on the base paths. But he saw an opportunity and he took it.
There might have been a little bit of hesitation, too, when he was rounding third, and that could have made the difference. I mean, he didn't completely stop at all, but I think he might have pulled up just a hair.
So 2 away here. Fedko with a 1-2 count. Here's Domkowski, the wind-up, the pitch. This one will be fouled off again to the right-hand side where most of these have been. So a lot of lengthy at-bats, and Colin probably going to be getting into this Bourne bullpen here in not too long.
And that's always a good sign that your team's kind of generating good at-bats. Of course, it all depends on how good the Bourne bullpen is. It certainly wasn't exactly great news for the Mariners against Falmouth because they had quite the bullpen, only giving up a couple of runs in about 5 innings of work. So they were pretty impressive as that ball misses in the dirt.
Yep, definitely going to find out what they have in store today. And a lot of guys we talk about on temp contracts right now for all the teams in the league, but also for Bourne. Some of them may get into the game today. Back to the windup, as I mentioned before, is Domkowski. Here comes the 2-2, long extended look in, then he'll bring it home. And this one will be fouled away again. This one might be in play, though. Curtis chasing it over to the fence, and he'll make the catch near the warning track for out number 3. So Harwich able to get one on, can't bring him around to score. They still lead it 2-0 as we head to the home half of the 4th. You're listening to Harwich Mariner Baseball here on YouTube Live.
Our corporate sponsors. To you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Welcome back to Bourne as the Harwich Mariners with a 2-0 lead as we enter the home half of the 4th inning. Again, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
Visit them at pawsox.com.
So as we're back here at Bourne, as you mentioned, I'd like to thank our sponsors, all of our sponsors, throughout the entire course of the season. Coming up now, it'll be the Bourne Braves top of the lineup. It'll be 1-2-3, trying to get something accomplished here against Connor Seckler, but that has not been easy so far. He has faced the minimum. Technically has no hitter going still. Nobody's reached base. 9 up, 9 down, including 4 strikeouts, and now Noah Bridges will get a second crack at him here in the 4th inning. Again, the number one concern for this team has been offense, at least through the first game. They were unable to score in a 2-0 loss to Orleans. First pitch from Seckler in there for a strike. Coming with the slider on the first pitch.
I mean, the number one concern for us right now in the broadcast booth is this wind picking up here.
Yeah.
Blowing everything all over the place. But it has shifted. It's going out towards right field now.
Seckler leaves one on the outside edge. They'll call that a ball. Yeah, a little bit of a wind tunnel here underneath the press box here at Bourne.
But yeah, when we first got here, the wind was coming from right field instead of going out.
Here's one hit to second, picked up by Fedko. Throw to first is in time, just barely one away, and the no-hitter is conserved.
That was a very close play there.
Now batting the third baseman from Boston College.
I say technical because I don't think no matter how well he's pitching, they will leave him out there for the entire course of the game. Again, early in the season, want to test some different arms, but never know. A lot of different ways that you can go in that situation, and never know exactly what's on the mind of Coach Engler. First pitch, change up. That'll be in there for strike one, right around the knees to Cody Morissette, who struck out looking his first time up.
And regardless of the pitch limit, he's been really efficient.
Absolutely. Swing and a miss. This one, slider down in the dirt.
And he's been working very quickly.
Absolutely. Barely giving guys time to get back in the batter's box before he's ready with the next pitch. Here's the 0-2. Fastball upstairs. Morissette will lay off that one. Clearly some good chemistry going on between him and Jackson Greer behind the plate as they've been working very quickly. This one, a fastball will miss low, and the count even at 2-2. Again, just 2 hits in that first game for Bourne. This one will be taken once again to second. That'll eat Fedko up. Tries to stick with it, but that's going to be all for a nod as Cody Morissette will reach, and the first hit of the game is recorded, assuming they're not going to charge an error to that.
Yeah, that's a borderline play there because he was moving to his left pretty well. He got himself in position but was unable to make the play. It's going to be very interesting to see how they score this one.
Well, they will score it as an error up there. So still no hits given up in this game, but Cody Morissette reaches on the air by Fedko.
First error of the season for the Mariners.
Yep, and now Alika Williams, maybe the most dangerous bat in this lineup, stepping to the plate in the 3-hole today. First pitch, beautiful changeup in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Williams got a pretty good piece of it back in the first, but ended up flying out to center. Now hitting with a runner on base. We'll see Seckler for the first time out of the stretch here. He throws over and checks Morissette. Sometimes guys more comfortable pitching one way or another.
A little early to talk about the tying run here, but Williams is the tying run at the plate.
Here he comes with took a little bit off of that and zips it on the outside. Counts to 0-2 here. So doing a really good job just staying ahead of hitters. Doesn't matter who it's been, 1 through 9. He has not really fallen behind anybody. Runner takes off. Opportunity throw to second is way ahead. And an excellent throw by Jackson Greer is going to nail Cody Morissette at second.
I mean, that was just picture perfect. I think a little bit of a slow jump there from Morissette. But throw was right there. Good level, good distance as well. And that's a big sigh of relief with 2 strikes for Seckler.
Both guys on the Harwich roster right now. Matt Oldham on Monday and Jackson Greer today. This one hit into center field. Chasing it back is Weimer, and that'll actually be Lansley who settles under it to make the catch for out number 3. We will step away when we come back. We'll be visiting half of the 5th. Mariners back up to bat when we come back. They're up 2-0 here on Harwich on YouTube TV. Welcome back to baseball action here at Bourne. New pitcher on the mound, and it'll be Culliver out there for the Bourne Braves. Take a look at what he's done this season. Joshua Culliver out of the University of Minnesota. Had a 4.64 ERA through 64 innings pitched last season, 51 strikeouts to just 28 walks. Opponents hitting about 285 off of him, and finally a righty in here to replace Nick Domkowski.
Solid game from Domkowski. I'm sure he would have liked to maybe at least get that 5th inning of work. So he went 4 strong with 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. Walked 2 and struck out 3.
So we'll see what Culliver's got in store as he'll have to face off against a different part of the lineup here for the Harwich Mariners. It'll be 8-9-1, Jackson Greer, Brian Dempsey, and Joey Weimer. And let's really quickly go back to the point of what happened in that last inning. Jackson Greer with an excellent throw to second. So both of the catchers here currently on temp contracts able to get a really good put out at second base, catching guys stealing, one at third on Monday and then at second for Greer today.
And it's never easy to make that throw from second base. I mean, it's quite it's no 90-foot throw down to second, down to first or third. It's a long throw out towards second. So when you can have multiple guys like that in your roster do it, it's very good to see.
First pitch from Culliver, a fastball in there for strike one on the outside edge, a little bit more of a typical windup here. Culliver again pitching from the right side. He'll be facing off against a righty in his own right, Jackson Greer. 0-1 pitch, another fastball. That'll just miss, try to put it in the same spot, and the count even at 1-1. Greer 1 for 1 today with a base hit and a run scored. Checks his swing, and they'll look down, and they say he did go. Definitely broke the wrist, but kind of came down instead of out on that. And so the count now 1-2. Very awkward check swing there for Jackson Greer, who's going to have to shorten up on the bat a little bit here.
It looks like Culliver's got some nice movement on his two-seam fastball.
A little late breaking action, and he gets him to swing through that. Jackson Greer down on strikes to start the fifth.
Now was an impressive-looking sweeping curve there from Culliver. Started right at the hip and just broke down right towards, right above the kneecap.
Brian Dempsey.
Tough pitch to hit if you're Greer.
So we head to the 9-hole. Brian Dempsey will come up to bat. Had that technical sack bunt, if you will, a little swinging sack bunt to move the runners over to second and third. He'll watch the first pitch miss low for ball one. Haven't really seen anything big off speed for Culliver so far. Most of it's been that fastball, but you mentioned a lot of good movement on it as this one will be hit sharply to third, picked up, thrown across the diamond. Morris set to Curtis, 2 away here in the fifth.
This is just what the doctor ordered for the Braves, is a quick fifth inning and try to kind of boost some morale for those bats to get them going against a very tough pitcher in Seckler. I mean, if we see the same thing that we saw with Logan Allen on Monday, Seckler's time is probably numbered here in this game, and that's definitely good news for the Braves.
Yep, absolutely. Right now trying to get out of this inning quickly. First pitch will miss high around eye level to Joey Weimer, who drove in the first run of the game with the RBI single, infield single back in the third. He's looking to get a little two-out rally going here and maybe add on some insurance runs as he'll watch another fastball miss high. Count 2-0 here. Not convinced that there's a lot in the secondary pocket of Joshua Culliver, but if you can locate that fastball well enough, it doesn't really matter. Here he puts a little bit more on it, and it's in there around the knees for strike one.
And to your point, I mean, the slider that Greer saw, or slider/breaking ball, whatever it was, really surprised him. So that just tells the whole story.
2-1, once again, comes with a hard fastball, and I think we're getting two different fastball grips. It looks like out of Culliver, he's got a two-seam grip and a four-seam grip, one with a lot more velocity on it than the other. Difference of probably anywhere between 5 to 6 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that two-seam fastball meant to go in as a right-handed pitcher on right-handed hitting.
So he's come with a four-seam on back-to-back pitches. We'll see what he has dialed up here for Joey Weimer, the 2-2 count the pitch. And that'll miss upstairs. That looked like an actual breaking ball. So clearly a three-pitch guy. Kind of waited to break that one out.
Yeah, he's kind of like your cookie-cutter reliever, guy who throws a couple of different fastball variants and a hard-breaking slider/curve.
Payoff pitch hit sharply to third, picked up by Morissette once again across the diamond. And a quick 3-up, 3-down inning for the Mariners. They go quietly in the fifth, but still lead it 2-0. We head to the home half. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on YouTube Live. Back to baseball here at Bourne. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey bringing you the fifth inning as we head to the home half. Bourne trying to tack on some runs, but that will not be easy as staying out there in the game for a fifth inning will be Connor Seckler. He's faced the minimum so far. The only guy to reach base was back in the fourth on an error. Cody Morissette was able to reach, so Still got the no-hitter going, and he will have to face off against the heart of the order for a second time. A.J. Curtis, Shane Muntz, and Kyle Hess. Dealing very quickly. First pitch misses high and away, and the count to 1-0 on A.J. Curtis.
And Curtis hit .318 with a homer and 18 runs batted in for Cal State Fullerton.
Swing and a miss, and a pitch down in the zone, and Curtis is even the count here at 1-1. So the JUCO transfer trying to get something accomplished here for the Bourne Braves. They've gone quietly, as this one will be fouled away and well out of play.
Got on base on a pretty impressive clip, 373 on base percentage, 761 on the on base plus slugging.
Yep, pretty good metric there, the old OPS. Curtis digs in. Here's the 1-2 from Seckler. That'll miss down and away for ball 2. Technically, this is big swing and a miss at the curveball outside. 1 away as A.J. Curtis down on strikes. Back to my point that I was about to make before a beautiful strikeout pitch thrown by Connor Seckler. We are now entering the 14th scoreless inning for Bourne so far this season. They were shut out back in the first game and haven't found a way to get somebody across home plate yet. Trying to get something accomplished here. Shane Muntz, the DH, and he'll watch the first pitch. A fastball in there for strike 1.
Also, we are in the 10th scoreless inning from Harwich starting pitching so far this year.
Absolutely. Seckler gets a check swing, and they're going to say he went around there. I think the ball was in the zone anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered as he took a little something off that. So once again, Seckler getting ahead of the hitter. And Shane Muntz, who went down looking his first time up, going to have to be careful. Here's the 0-2. High fastball, and he'll fight that one off. Doing a good job there just to get a piece of it as he was a little behind.
Yeah, that slider's on that outside corner's really been working for Seckler throughout the start. That's why he's gotten so many strikeouts looking. He's placed the ball right there. That pass strikeout to Curtis was actually the first time he's gotten someone swinging in this game.
And we haven't seen the changeup in a while, and I like that. He's kind of hiding it a little bit. A couple of sliders, a couple of fastballs. Haven't seen him use it this inning. See if he breaks out with an 0-2 count. Goes right with the gas. It'll be hit, and that will get down just past the outstretched arm of Cavadas. So the first hit of the game, that'll break up the no-hitter here in the 5th.
Yeah, it actually glanced off of the glove there of Cavadas, but it was hit so hard that they're going to have to give that one a hit.
Thank you. Lost that one behind the home plate umpire. It's amazing what difference a couple of inches left to right in a different chair can give you for a view. So they will rule that as a hit. That'll be the first hit of the day for the Bourne Braves. And now a little soft contact out of play here for Kyle Hess. So Hess hitting with a runner on base. They were able to get Morissette on back in the 4th with 1 away. Couldn't find a way to bring him home. And actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we got a pinch hitter in there. It's Brendan Rivoli.
Wait a sec. Rivoli's in the starting lineup, though.
Rivoli.
Yeah, I think they're batting out of order here, Tyler.
You are correct. Rivoli is in the 8th slot. And if they are doing what I think they're doing, you can see right now, Coach Englert is out there having a word with the umpire.
Our producer here, Matt Lucy, mentioned me was really confused for a sec because he was wondering, what the display was supposed to be, and I looked down. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Well, here's the thing: you bat a guy out of order. I mean, maybe like the 6 to 7 slot. This is a 2-slot jump. I mean, Kyle Hess is sitting in the 7 slot. Rivoli's hitting in the, Hess is in the 6. Rivoli's in the 8. The home plate umpire comes out here. And we'll see what they elect to do.
Mask going back on.
Are they just going to let him play it here?
Yeah, I don't know how to score this either,
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm thoroughly confused.
Maybe there was a mix-up in the lineup from 4.
But I believe the first time through the order we saw Hess in this spot. This will be taken to deep center field. Chasing it back is Weimer, and he will make the catch at the warning track.
So I guess that was Rivoli. That's out.
So Rivoli's away, and how about this? Kyle Hess picks up a bat. He is in the hole right now.
Right.
Interesting.
So the only thing I can think of
Second
here
base for
is
Dallas Baptist, number
that
4, Jimmy
Coach
Glowacki.
Engler was expecting the same lineup, and maybe the only changes were the 6 and 8 spots flipped. That's the only thing I can really think of
Well,
here.
I'm amazed that none of us caught that first time through the order,
Yep.
though, if they ran it that way. Either way, it'll be Jimmy Glowacki coming up now with a runner on base and 2 away. And he'll watch the first pitch down and away for ball 1. So it'll be Glowacki, and then Kyle Hess is actually standing on deck right now. High fastball up and in. And you would think, I mean, they do trade lineup cards before the game, so it's not like they said just use the one that you got yesterday. They have to bring the lineup card back out and exchange that. So interesting to me that there's no violation there, but either way, it'll be a 2-0 count. This one taken the other way into deep right center field, and a diving attempt. It rolls to the wall. That's going to probably score 1. They round him. There will be a throw, but it won't be nearly in time. He'll actually hang on to it. And the ball driven all the way out to right center field represents the first run of Bourne's season. It'll be an RBI double for Jimmy Glowacki.
Some big 2-out hitting there from Glowacki, just taking the ball the opposite field. Something pretty tough for a player at any level to do is hit the ball that hard to the opposite field. It was a great effort out and right by Ludwig, but he just couldn't get there in time. And the lead is cut in half, 2-1.
Kyle Hess.
Yep, and shades of Monday's game as they had a 2-0 lead. Ended up falling behind. So trying to get out of this inning here. It's Connor Seckler. He'll face off against Hess. This one ripped right at the shortstop, and Dempsey able to put it away for out number 3. So, Bourne able to get 1 back, but they can't strike for any more. It'll be Harwich back up to bat. We head to the 6th. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on YouTube Live. Back to baseball here at Bourne. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball. The Mariners lead it 2-1 here after Bourne was able to get a run back in the home half of the 5th. We head now to the 6th inning. A couple of quick score updates to pass your way. At last check, Orleans leading Brewster on the road 4-0. That one in the 6th inning. And early on through the 2nd inning, YD has opened an early 3-0 lead on the defending champion Wareham Gatemen. Here it will be another inning. Coming out here for Josh Culliver. His first pitch will miss high and away to Mike Ludwig.
Yeah, and he's greeted by a guy who's been red hot, 2 for 2 in this game, is Ludwig.
Ludwig will watch this one down and in. That'll just barely miss. So the count now to 2-0. And I mean, again, we've been kind of racking our brains about this since it happened. Fairly certain that they batted through the order the right time the first time around, and then flipped Kyle Hess and Brendan Rivoli. The umpire lets it go, and you know, it ends up leading to a run for the Braves.
Yeah, very, very confusing situation for sure.
That pitch was in there for a strike. The next one, same spot, same result, and the count now 2-2 on Mike Ludwig.
A lot of life on Culliver's fastballs ever since he's entered the game.
We'll see if he comes with a straight heater here. Goes the 2-seam. 2-2 pitch. That'll miss in around the knees. Just about catches Ludwig on the shoelaces, and the count now has been worked full.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a late release there on that slider.
So, payoff pitch on its way to Ludwig. Swung on and taken to short, picked up by Williams. Throw to first is in time for out number 1.
Another grounder to short, another smooth play by Williams. I mean, he's just pretty much a 5-tool player. He can really swing it with the bat and make the plays in the field. And it was a pretty healthy throw across the diamond there from Williams.
Yep, not a whole lot that Lika Williams can't do. Bobby Seymour will come up to bat now. He had the RBI that currently represents the only separation between these two. That came back in the 3rd inning. Ruled as a fielder's choice. So with a fresh count, he'll take his first hacks against Josh Culliver. Comes home with the first pitch. That'll miss up and away for ball 1.
I think Seymour's really hoping to get the ball in the air on this one after a double play ball in the first, and then that fielder's choice, which is almost one, but a good job hustling to first by Seymour, preventing it.
Big hack taken at that one, and the count now to 1-1. Yeah, Seymour just trying to make some solid contact, grounded into a double play back in the first, and then I mentioned the RBI fielder's choice back in the 3rd. Culliver sets, kicks, fires. This one will just miss on the inside edge, and the count now 2-1.
Something a lot of pitchers that we've seen so far throughout the young season, we haven't really seen a lot of guys establishing the inside corner, and that's exactly what Culliver's been doing this evening.
Yep, a lot of guys playing it safe. That sets up the high and away pitch, which he tried there but just missed, and the count now 3-1 as he's fallen behind Bobby Seymour. 24 walks, for Seymour last season. See if he's got another one in store here. 3-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. They're going to say he got just a bit of a piece of that, but the count remains the same, 3-2.
Another challenge fastball.
And it's bold. I like to see it out of a pitcher when he just says, I'm going to take as much onto the velocity of this one as I can and see if you can catch up with it. We'll see if Culliver goes back to it here, gets a little bit crafty. Payoff pitch coming. That one will be fouled away. Another good at bat here out of Bobby Seymour.
Yeah, I think that was another two-seamer there on the payoff pitch. It looked like it kind of darted towards the third base side at the last second, and that caught Seymour off guard. Plus, he was a little behind it as well.
It's that late life that makes the two-seamer so dangerous. It looks like a four-seam coming out of the hand, but there at the very tail end of it, it tails off. Payoff once again. This will be driven into right center field. That's going to roll back to about the fence, and that eats up the center fielder. Bridges kicks it into right field, so it'll be a stand-up double for Bobby Seymour, and the Mariners are in business here with one away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they score that one. It was stung pretty hard towards the gap, but it looked like it was Bridges who had trouble fielding it cleanly and trying to get that into the cutoff man. So we'll see if they do throw an error in on that, and I think they have a single and an error, I believe, is how they're going to rule that one.
Fair enough. So no extra base hit there as he advances on the air. Would have been interesting to see how close the throw would have been at second regardless, but yeah, just kind of kicked it to the fence. So runner in scoring position with one away. First pitch will miss high and away to Nico Cavadas, who today is 0 for 2. Couple of flyouts, one to third, one to center, or one to left, sorry. Cavadas stands in. Ready for the next pitch here from Joshua Culliver. Checks the runner, comes home, brings a fastball right down Main Street, and the count even at 1-1.
Cavadas 1 for 4 in the opener against Falmouth.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start to the Cape season here, but definitely one of the more capable bats in this lineup. Culliver ready with 1-1. That'll miss right around the shoes. Count now 2-1. A lot of speed out there for Bobby Seymour. Just 3 stolen bases for him in the 2019 season, but we saw some pretty good speed turning the base and moving to second. Got to think something in the outfield. They might risk bringing him home here. Runs coming at a premium in this game. Here's the 2-1 from Culliver. That'll be fouled off the mask. Campbell taking a bit of a beating back there. That's the second or third time that's happened today.
Now, first base is open with 1 away if they want to try to set up a double play ball. Lansley on deck for the Mariners. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Stolen base as well.
Yeah, with first base open, you're definitely not going to give Cavadas anything too meaty here. Worst case scenario, you put him on and take your chances with the double play ball. 2-2 count, soft contact, taken to second. Picked up by Glowenke. He'll throw to first. And that will retire him for out number 2, but allow Seymour to move up just 90 feet away from being an insurance run.
Yeah, at least a mildly productive out there from Cavada sets up Lanzilli to try to push the lead back up to 2 with a base hit into the outfield.
So Chris Lanzilli will step up now. Walked back in the 4th. Aside from that, 0 for 1 today with a ground out to short. Williams playing him a little bit further to the left than maybe normally does. First pitch will be fouled back to the backstop here. Count 0-1.
Pretty solid crowd on hand, despite the Bruins facing off in about an hour.
Yeah, big game for the Boston sports community as this fastball, little two-seamer with some late life in the zone to make the count 0-2.
And I think that really says a lot about the dedication to some of these local fans out here in Cape Cod. That they're always up for a game at their local stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good attendance at Cape Cod baseball games. 0-2 pitch will miss high. So Lanzilli will check in to fight another pitch here. And the other interesting thing, not really a bleacher set to speak of out here except for the one directly behind us. So a lot of guys just kind of finding places wherever they can. 1-2, check swing, strike 3. Chris Lanzilli retired on 4 pitches. That'll take us to the home half of the 6th. Harwich still leading it 2-1. You're listening to Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners Radio Network.
Highline Cruises gift certificates and, of course, 50% of tonight's cash jackpot.
Bottom of the 6th here from Bourne. This broadcast of Harwich Mariners baseball is brought to you in part by Milton Cat. For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
We head now to the home half of the 6th, and a new pitcher coming into the game for the Harwich Mariners. It'll be Tommy Vale coming in relief of Connor Seckler. So Seckler's outing done after 5 full innings. Take a little bit of a look at what Tommy Vale has done. The left-handed pitcher out of Notre Dame, one of a couple Notre Dame guys on this roster of note. His season last year, pretty solid. 24 appearances, a 3.07 ERA, 37 strikeouts to 21 walks. And for Vale, only going to see a couple of pitches, fastball, curveball, but a lot of good control on both. That's what he'll be working with in this game.
Tickets are just $5, and part of the
This is a lefty-heavy bullpen for the Mariners, 5 of them as of right now, compared to 3 righties. So expect to see quite a bit of that as game turned over to the bullpen for the last 4 innings of regulation.
So Vale's first test will come against Jacob Campbell, who's 0 for 1 today, flied out to center during a 9-up, 9-down streak for the Bourne Braves. They were able to strike for the first run of the season back in the 5th. We'll see if they can put anything more on top of it as Vale zips the first pitch in there for strike 1.
Now the shadow's starting to play a role here as it's starting to creep over that batter's box.
Big sweeping curveball, and that's the first look we get of that pitch from Tommy Vale. Unable to locate just barely, but that's a pretty deadly curve. Here comes the 1-1 from Vale. Fastball, that'll miss down in the dirt. So the count 2-1 here to Jacob Campbell, today's catcher.
Just his second at-bat so far. That's how few batters Seckler faced in his 5 innings of work.
Working very quickly through his 5 innings. This one will be fouled away. The count will even up at 2-2.
So yeah, the book closes on Seckler. 5 innings pitched, just 1 hit allowed. Also resulted in a run, however. That run was earned, and he did not walk anybody and had 5 Ks.
That run scoring off the
Pardon me,
air.
actually 2 hits allowed in the game.
Yep, this one hit very hard. Good dig out of the dirt there. Throw across the corner from Dempsey is in time. 1 away. And how about that for Dempsey going down to pick that one up? Not an easy play to make over there at short.
And that's great to see because one of the big questions for Dempsey coming into the season was his defense. I think he had 13 errors with BC this past year. He's had a lot of balls hit his way at second last game and now over at short, and he's just looked spectacular so far.
Absolutely. So Noah Bridges will come up for a 3rd time today. He'll get his first looks at Tommy Vale. 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. First pitch is that curveball, starting on the inside and breaking away, and all Bridges can do is shake his head. It's a pretty tough pitch to catch up to. Vale brings the 0-1 home, comes back with a curveball, and that'll catch the bottom part of the zone. 0-2 now the count. Bridges.
Someone's stretching in the bullpen for the Mariners, but doesn't look like they're ready at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vale ends up going another inning because that pitch is fouled off.
Especially not if he keeps this up. He goes with the curveball there. It's just kind of tapped back in the dirt. For Noah Bridges, just 1 at bat back in the first game for them against Orleans. He went 0 for 1 in a pinch hit in the 8th inning. Still looking for his first hit of the season. Vale brings the fastball home, strike 3. Got Bridges to swing over that, looking for another curveball, 2 away.
And I can see why they don't really have anyone ready at the moment. There's a lot of confidence in Vale, and you can see why. 2 pretty quick outs, and he picks up a strikeout here. 2 away now in the 6th.
So that'll bring up Cody Morissette. He was the first guy who reached base back in the 4th inning, was able to get on an error. This one down in the dirt, curveball missing, and the count to 1-0.
Didn't last on base too long, though, after that great throw by Greer to get him out trying to steal second.
Yes, definitely an excellent throw as Greer came up and had him beat by a good 2-3 feet. 1-0 pitch coming from Tommy Vale. Comes back with the hook. This one just misses low and away. As the wind still picking up a little bit here. I think you're going to need a bigger rock.
Yeah.
Little token paperweight. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Vale. Fastball and a good frame job there by Greer. They're going to call it strike 1.
I need some duct tape at this point.
Don't even know if that's going to help your case too much. Wind picking up pretty good here at Bourne. Here's the 2-1. That'll miss down in the dirt. The count now to 3-1. So the pitches to play with have been taken away here. Tommy Vale's going to have to put one in the strike zone. Not a ton of velocity on that fastball, but it's enough of a change from his hook that it can be deadly. And here he does come with a fastball. Same spot, same frame. As Greer puts that one back in the bottom part of the zone, and the count is full here.
Yeah, it was perfectly placed fastball right on the corner. Morissette thought he had ball 4.
Morissette has thought a couple of times that he's had a ball, and instead both have been called strike. Payoff pitch, and he got him swinging. So 2 strikeouts for Tommy Vale here in his Harwich debut. And going quietly 1-2-3 are the Braves. We'll step away, and when we come back, it's the 7th inning of play. Mariners still lead at 2-1. You're listening to it here on YouTube TV.
Through 6 innings here in Bourne, the Mariners lead 2-1 over the Braves. Alongside Tyler Henry, I'm Colin Casey, bringing you coverage here on this Wednesday evening, this Game 7 day, I should say, as the Bruins inching closer and closer to that puck drop on Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals against St. Louis Blues. Meanwhile, we got a baseball game here as the Mariners DH Edward Malinowski steps in. He will face Culliver, who's in his 3rd inning of work. And the first pitch he sees is a hard grounder to the right side. Flip over to Culliver to first is in time. Nice play by Curtis on a sliding effort. And one quick out for the Braves.
Yep, and a little bit better hustle this time out of Culliver than what Domkowski had earlier. Keep in mind that big inning was aided by a play where he kind of jogged over to first base, expecting his guy in Curtis to get back to the bag.
So it'll be Fetko with one away as the lights come on. Sun quickly setting out here in western Cape Cod. And Joshua Culliver's first pitch is low and away. Culliver now 2 1/3 innings of work, has struck out 2. Only giving up the 1 base hit to Seymour last inning. There's a high pop-up on the right side, more action over at first, but this play will actually be made by Glowinski, the second baseman, and there are quickly 2 down in the top of the 7th.
Yep, and I mean at this rate, we might even see another inning out of Culliver. At the pace that he's going at, might as well while it's working. It's just going to be about finding a way to get the offense going.
Yeah, it's a Josh Hader type performance right now where he's been able to go multiple innings and kind of save the other arms in the bullpen in one game. So here's Greer. 1 for 2 with a run scored in this one, and he takes the first pitch low and away for ball 1.
Yep, he was instrumental back in the big 3rd inning where Harwich was able to get a pair of runs in. Came around to score on the RBI infield single by Joey Weimer.
Also struck out swinging against Culliver in the 5th. And that pitch misses low. He was actually the first batter faced by Culliver.
I was about to say he was the guinea pig.
They got him with a really good slider on the inside corner. Very tough pitch to perfect the off-speed front door. That fastball's right there at the knees, 2-1.
Yep, you see the check swing there by Greer. Thought that might have been the pitch that was going to break down, but it ends up just kind of hanging right where it was there in the bottom of the zone. And a 2-1 count.
From the wind-up, the pitch, and it is fouled straight back. Count will be even at 2 with 2 away.
Yep, once again, we're not exactly in foul ball territory. Pretty good setups all across the league, and sitting field level once again here, Colin.
Just a perfect view of the field here, just off-centered from the right side, right next to the Mariners' dugout. The 2-2. That's going to be low, 3-2.
Yep, the count worked full. Another good at-bat here by Jackson Greer. Trying to hold his spot. A couple of reinforcements will be coming in this weekend as the College World Series continues, and plenty of the teams that got knocked out will be bringing players to Harwich.
There's a high fly ball down the left field line. It is going, and it is no ruling yet.
Nobody called it. I mean, Greer's jogging around the bases like it's a home run, but neither the guy
and
down the line
the umps aren't doing anything, so it's going to be a home run for Greer.
All right.
Boy, was that ball hammered down the left field line, and the Mariners lead 3-1. There was no ruling right on the play, no signal from the umpire. That ball must have crossed right over the foul pole, and that was a long home run, probably upwards of 380 to 390 feet.
Well, you've got the umpire down the third base line, and you've got the home plate umpire. Now, they're going to meet for a bit of a conference here. I can't imagine them taking this back at this point, but neither one signaled either way. I mean, neither one put their hands up. The first base ump actually jogged out to have a decision, and then, well, they're going to break up the conference very quickly. So it will be a home run, and now it's a 2-run lead for the Mariners here.
Yeah, I think the Braves dugout's wondering the same thing, why there was no signal, and also it's the third base coach over for the Mariners. So.
Well, yeah, you can see, I mean, Coach Shapiro's
kind
of got his hands out. He's like, what the heck? I mean, you got to make a call one way or the other.
That's exactly what he said.
And I like Greer didn't hesitate at all. He just jogs around the bases and heads back to the dugout.
So it's the first Mariners home run of the season, with 2 away and a full count in the top of the 7th inning. And now Brian Dempsey fouls off the first pitch he sees.
Well, how about Jackson Greer making a case to stick around? A base hit and a home run for him in this game. A couple of catchers on their way in Pat Winkle and Mike Rothenberg.
Sliders on the inside corner, 0-2. And there was no question that ball had the distance of getting out. I mean, it was hit on a line pretty deep, and in the eyes of the umpires, managed to stay fair after. And that looked like strike 3, but it's going to be on the outside, or it's going to be just off the outside corner, I should say, for a ball 1-2.
I mean, yeah, that ball was, I mean, you mentioned it, basically right on top of the foul pole. So a very close call.
Off-speed pitch is yanked foul by Dempsey, so they'll redo it. 1-2. And some jeers from the from the crowds about the umpire making a signal saying foul ball over at third base. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 3-1, the Mariners lead. Culliver from the windup. The high leg kick and the pitch is a pop fly down the right field line. Plenty of space for A.J. Curtis to make the play, and that will retire the side. But Jackson Greer hammers the first Mariners home run of the season, and it pads the lead. It's 3-1. As we enter the 7th inning stretch, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on YouTube TV.
0-0.
Seventh inning stretch time here at Doran Park. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. Want to give you a quick update on the College World Series, most notably the Super Regional round that wrapped up a couple of days ago, I should say, and a couple of teams that got eliminated and why that matters. Arkansas knocked off Ole Miss, Florida State knocked off LSU, Vanderbilt knocked off Duke, Mississippi State knocked off Stanford, and Auburn knocked off North Carolina. All those teams had players that had signed with Harwich preseason that would be coming in, including infielders Tyler Keenan and Hal Hughes, Daniel Cabrera, an outfielder, catchers Mike Rothenberg and Pat Winkle, and pitchers Caden O'Brien and Jacob Palish. So some fresh troops coming in sometime this weekend or a little bit later. Harwich will be restocked and ready to go, and it'll be interesting to see who is able to stick around on some of these temp contracts once that has happened.
Always great to have reinforcements like that talent-wise. And the first pitch is inside. That one coming from Vale, out for a second inning of work. Alika Williams at the plate, and he takes the next pitch upstairs, 2-0. Williams flew out to center in the first, flew out to left in the fourth. So he's gotten under the ball a little bit too much instead of driving it over the fence. Next offering is in there for a swinging strike, I should say, 2-1.
Well, Williams trying to bring the big game back to within one with one swing of the bat there, but just gets a little bit under it. Definitely a guy with the capability to do so. Again, hit cleanup all year last season at Arizona State.
Now Williams hits this one down the right field line. It's going to be a tough play over for the second baseman. It was Fedko who couldn't get there in time. It's a foul ball. That's always one of those tough plays where there's 3 different guys running to the same spot from the same distance.
Yep. Fedko just kind of overran it a little bit. But again, a tough play looking over your shoulder like that, especially right now, this time of day. Never going to be an easy play to make.
Fortunately, that ball dropped foul, so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Williams. Notoriously good 2-strike hitter. From the windup, Vale's pitch is fouled off the glove of the catcher Greer.
And you can see the frustration there, not quite able to keep or catch up with that. He's waiting, kind of sitting on that fastball, waiting for one up in the zone. That would have been the one to drive, but just kind of jammed him high and tight.
the new home run leader for the Mariners, unable to hang on to that one. The 2-2 is hit well out towards right field, but it will hang up just enough in time for Ludwig to make the play for out number 1.
Yep, not a bad piece of hitting there, and maybe if he hits it a couple feet to the left, that'll drop for a double, but instead it's going to be put away for a pretty typical hit, and that'll bring up A.J. Curtis. 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out back in the second.
So Williams is flied out to each outfielder in this game as he's 0 for 3 now. Curtis is 0 for 2 with a ground out to third in the second and a strikeout swinging in the fifth. And the first pitch from Vail blows it right by Curtis for a swinging strike.
And I mentioned earlier, I think maybe even incorrectly, not a lot of velocity on that fastball. He's got some good speed to it. I mean, it didn't have a lot of pace to it early on, but it seems like later on, as he's kind of warmed up, that thing has really become tough, especially with the variance.
That pitch up and away for a ball 1-1.
I mean, you look at the difference in speeds between the fastball and the curveball, and if you're not expecting the right one or you can't adjust quick enough, you're not going to be able to get a piece of wood on it at all.
Mariners bullpen had a tough outing against Falmouth on Monday. Let's see if they can hang on to this lead and give the M's their first win of the season. 2-1 the count after another pitch missing upstairs. The 2-1 on the outside corner for a strike. Count is even now.
That's been his best pitch. Fastball low, and he's been able to locate that right at the knees almost every time whenever he wants it. It's a tough pitch to lay off of, especially if you think it's a curveball coming, you're expecting it to break down, and then it just never moves.
Sharp breaking ball fouled to the backstop to keep the count at 2-2. Looks like a couple of guys tossing in both bullpens as we speak. See if there's any changes coming up in the 8th inning.
I mean, honestly, the way Vail's been pitching, I don't really see any reason to pull him unless he gives up a couple of hits here, but always want to get a look at a couple of different guys if you can.
And there's a sharply hit ball over the head of the second baseman Fedko into right center for a base hit. Ludwig will get it back in quickly, but it is the third hit of the game and the first for A.J. Curtis in this contest.
Yep, and the guy who hit the very first one of the game was Shane Muntz, who steps to the dish now. He is the lone run on the day for this team.
Muntz was driven in by Gluenke in that weird 5th inning with the whole batting out of order controversy.
And in case you're wondering about that controversy, it is Brendan Rivoli over there in the on-deck circle.
So runner on first, 1 away, and the first pitch from Vail is in there for strike 1. Muntz struck out looking in the 2nd inning before that base hit and a run scored in the 5th. Quick check on the runner, and a pitch is fouled off towards the Mariners dugout. It's an 0-2 count.
And this is where Vail thrived in the last inning, getting ahead of hitters early in the count. Hopefully he can find a way to finish off Muntz here, but not an easy out. The base hit and the run scored back in the 5th. Did strike out looking in the 2nd to Connor Seckler, as did a lot of guys in this lineup.
From the stretch, Vail. A deep sigh, and the pitch is in there for strike 3, right on the middle away part of the strike zone. And Muntz has struck out looking for the 2nd time in this one, 2 away.
Second looking strikeout for him today, and I told you, I mean, when Vail gets up in the count 0-2, when Vail gets up in the count 0-2, he's one of the better pitchers on this roster, able to really locate wherever he wants. So that'll bring up Brendan Rivoli.
Rivoli with a strikeout looking in the 2nd, and he flew out to center in the 5th. And the first pitch, he's well behind it. Another fastball from Vail. He's really trusting it so far in this inning. 3 runs on 6 hits, 1 error for the Mariners. Braves 1 run on 3 hits, also with an error. Vail with a long pause. Here's the pitch, and he blows another one past Rivoli. Strike 2.
And when you can trust that fastball, it makes the curveball just that much more dangerous because, I mean, that's the secondary pitch, but that's the one that you want to go to on a strikeout. I mean, it's got a lot of movement to it. Very tough to catch up to, especially if you're sitting on a fastball. The variation has been good. I like the way he's used the fastball to set up his strikeout pitch. We'll see if he goes to it 0-2 here or tries to blow one by him again.
The 0-2. just outside 1-2.
Came with a fastball there, and I like that fastball outside, trying to get him to chase. Pretty good spot, but Rivoli able to hang off.
Got a handful of scouts to our left, of course. Always important to impress them during these summer months to really put your name on Major League Baseball's radar. It's a pickoff move from Vale, runner back in time. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away with the Mariners up 3-1 in the home half of the 7th. The 1-2 fouled right off the bricks. The brick backstop stays 1-2.
Yep, and the mind games continue. 5 straight fastballs thrown here in this at bat. So you wonder when he's going to go to it. I mean, as a hitter, that's always in the back of your mind. You know he has that curveball. When is he going to break that out? Is he going to break that out? And right now, all the control is in the hands of Tommy Vale.
He'll try again with a 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Vale with another strikeout, his 4th now in this one through 2 innings. And the side is retired. 3-1 Mariners after 7 innings of baseball. We'll bring it right back here for the last 2 in just a minute.
New ownership means a new way of doing business.
We head to the 8th inning here in Bourne with the Mariners enjoying a 2-run lead, 3-1 after 7. And a new pitcher now for the Bourne Braves, and it's going to be Kieran Shaw out of Harvard. Shaw with a 1-3 record with the Crimson, 3.96 ERA, 13 saves. Opponents only hit .211 against him, so a pretty good season for the Harvard sophomore.
Yep, used predominantly as a closer, if I'm not mistaken. So he's used to pitching in high-pressure situations. Here, pitching from behind, but trying to make sure that no additional runs get tacked on here as Harwich heads back to the top of the order.
Joey Weimer will lead off. Weimer in his fourth at-bat now. 1 for 3 as he fouls off the first pitch to the backstop. Struck out swinging in the first. Had an RBI single in the third, and he grounded out to third in the 5th. Shaw working from the windup. It's always big debate whether relievers tend to go from or should go from the windup or the stretch. You see a mix of both at all levels, as that's a curveball in the dirt, 1-1.
Well, a lot of people think the mentality is if you get brought in a situation where you have runners on base, you don't have the luxury of going out of the windup. So they want him to get used to pitching out of the stretch.
Low fastball misses, 2-1.
But it's all about what everybody's comfortable with. I mean, different pitchers, some are good with both. Some prefer to pitch out of the windup, others the stretch. A lot of guys just like to keep it consistent. They don't want to get used to pitching out of the windup and then have to come in during the stretch.
That pitch also low, 3-1. Think of a couple of starting pitchers who actually work from the stretch always. Carlos Carrasco, I believe, one of them. Very rare, though, you do see. A lot of pitchers love enjoying that windup. Here's the 3-1 showing bunt as Weimer. He takes a strike down the middle and the count is now full.
Yeah, not the best pitch in the world to try to bunt. Good decision to pull the bat back with 1 strike left to give, but now he's found himself in a full count as working his way back into this at-bat, or back into the at-bat is Kieran Shaw.
Weimer way out in front of that as he hits a ball a mile. That's heading towards the parking lot. And thankfully, there is a roof over all of our cars out there.
I was going to say, I might want to go check on mine, make sure it's all good out there, but the roof hopefully doing its job.
You have to wonder if that's why the roof was put there in the first place. If so, very wishful thinking. The 3-2 is a check swing fouled off to the right, and we will do it again.
Yeah, and you see there, Weimer kind of shaking his hand a little bit. That was pretty tight in on the hands. Got to be awfully careful with that. The count stays at 3-2, but hopefully he's not shaken up by that.
Shaw from the windup tries another payoff pitch. In there, strike 3, and Weimer tried walking up to first base on that one. He gets no sympathy from the umpire, and that is out number 1.
Yep, 2 strikeouts on the day for Weimer. A pretty good start to the game by Shaw so far.
Batting the right fielder from Wake Forest,
Talk about a guy that's going to think things through. Shaw not only got into Harvard, granted on an athletic scholarship, but over there at Harvard, also an AP scholar with the NHS. Got some honors that way as well. Bright guy out there on the bump.
The first pitch he delivers is a ball. And you always think about some of the smarter guys in the leagues. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard and is widely considered as the smartest quarterback in the NFL. The 1-0 ripped foul hard off the school.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe the least consistent quarterback in NFL history.
Playing with his 3rd AFC East team this season, the Miami Dolphins. 1-1 count. And from the windup, Shaw's pitch is another bunt attempt. This one coming from Ludwig. He fouls it straight back. It'll be 1-2.
A couple of bunt attempts here, one by Weimer, now by Ludwig, and you might think the philosophy has been the small ball is kind of what's gotten this team their lead so far. The 1 home run by Jackson Greer, but you look at the way they manufactured their runs. It was a couple of infield singles, a fielder's choice to move the runner over, a sac bunt.
Breaking ball misses low. Good take there from Ludwig, 2-2. Ludwig with a pair of singles in the first and the third. He also grounded out to short to lead off the 6th. The 2-2. That's low as well, and another full count here. So some good discipline from the Mariners hitters to work these deep counts.
Yeah, definitely we've seen a vast difference between Monday's game and today's game. A lot of quick counts back in the first outing. Now a lot of longer ABs.
Full count pitch, and it is sliced out to left field, a base hit. Just like Ludwig did back in the 6th inning, he hit a hard ball towards the shortstop, but Williams not quite in position to make that play, and so it'll be a 1-out single. And the 3rd hit of the game from Mike Ludwig.
I was about to say, have yourself a day. Ludwig really just tearing through different pitchers. The only guy he wasn't able to record a hit off of was Josh Culliver.
Bobby Seymour.
So that'll bring Bobby Seymour to the dish. Seymour today 1 for 2, grounded into a double play, fielder's choice that resulted in an RBI and a base hit back in the 6th.
As Seymour on that base hit in the 6th actually ended up on second base due to a fielding error out in center, the lone fielding error of the game, that by Noah Bridges. And the first pitch is in there for strike 1 to Seymour.
Got a final to pass your way. Orleans gets their 2nd victory of the year over Brewster by a final of 5-3. That one on the road. So Orleans off to a 2-1 start. Not bad. Trying to match Chatham with a 2-0 record. They're in progress with Falmouth right now.
Could have a share of the lead by the end this night's over. This is a swing and a miss for strike 2.
And ironically, this is one of those leagues where the only thing that matters is make sure you're not in last. That's kind of the big check. 4 of the 5 teams in each the East and West division make the playoff. And from that point in, you can do whatever you want. We saw Brewster last season eliminate the top-seeded YD squad in a 3-game series.
0-2 pitch from Shaw misses low. Seems like he's been really trying to attack that bottom half of the plate in this one.
Yeah, definitely keeping the ball low, and I can't say I blame him. If you're going to miss, you want to miss down, especially with a runner on first base. One away, the double play still very much in play here.
Yeah, the pitch Culliver threw that Greer took yard was definitely way up in the zone, a lot higher than he would have liked. 1-2, once again, is low, 2-2.
So we'll see what Shaw has dialed up here. 2-2 count. We'll see if he tries to go up in the zone, something he hasn't done a whole lot. Try to catch him off guard, and Seymour.
Pitch to the big lefty is fouled off. The runner was going. Ludwig took off. But with the foul ball, he will be forced to head back to first base.
The fourth time today we've seen the hit and run in play, and all 4 times, to my knowledge, the ball got fouled away. Hitter's doing a good job of getting a piece of it, but just trying to put it in play and move the runner up a little bit here. The small ball continues for the Mariners.
Seymour twirls his bat in anticipation of the 2-2 pitch from Shaw. Here it is. It's an off-speed pitch and it is fouled just to the left of home plate.
Yep, and Seymour with that big, intimidating frame, 6'4", 250, looks every bit of it. He's a guy that can definitely drive the ball. We've seen his power. Right now, just trying to move his runner up and maybe get another insurance run tacked on. Mariners still leading it 3-1 here in the home half, or the visiting half of the 8th.
Pretty nice view of the tree line over the fence all across the field, and the pickoff move to first back in time is Ludwig.
Yep, shades of White House Field. That tree line, no need for a batter's eye out there, although you don't really need it for evening games here as the sun sets behind home plate. It plays more of a problem for the outfielders than it does anybody behind home plate trying to watch.
Another 2-2. Runner on the move. It's taken for a ball. The throw is in time, and Ludwig is out. A great throw there from Jacob Campbell, and now it is a full count with 2 away.
Yeah, but more importantly, nobody on here. Seymour, a bit of a different hitting situation, maybe a little bit of a late jump there by Mike Ludwig. We've seen them use him very aggressively throughout this game. For a guy that last season only had 6 stolen bases.
Swing and a miss on the 3-2 pitch, so Shaw ends up facing the minimum. He allows a hit, but with help from Campbell, he gets out of the inning. And after 7.5, it is Harwich 3, Bourne 1. Stay tuned for the finish on the Harwich Mariners radio network. Bottom of the 8th here as Joe Boyle will enter the game for the Mariners, try to preserve this 2-run lead over Bourne. Boyle, known to get up way up there in velocity, is rumored that he had once hit 102 miles an hour at one point or another. He's the #1 rated right-handed pitcher out of Kentucky and #2 overall prospect from the state. So Boyle definitely a guy that a lot of teams are looking out for in 2019 with Notre Dame. Through 24 innings, he was 3-3 with a pair of saves, a 6.38 ERA, 36 strikeouts while walking 27.
Yep, and for Joe Boyle, he's kind of taken a little bit off on the velocity to try to focus on control. The one thing that he really wanted to make sure that he took care of. 27 walks, as you mentioned, in 2019, and an ERA well above 6. So trying to tone things down a little bit, but the potential is massive. Only 2 pitches for him, fastball, changeup, and you can imagine with the kind of velocity he has, Colin, how deadly that changeup is. He goes to it quite a bit to set the fastball up as the strikeout pitch.
He'll be greeted by the bottom of the Braves order, who is a combined 1 of 6 today. However, no strikeouts, so they've been able to put the bat on the ball. And so it'll be Jimmy Golowenki leading things off, the second baseman. Righty against righty. Boyle's first pitch is a fastball and is sent straight up. It's in play. And he makes the catch. Wow, that one fooled everybody as Greer, I don't think he reacted until the ball was on the way down. He takes a couple steps back towards his left and makes a lunging catch. And Jackson Greer continues to have a phenomenal game. Score that one a P2.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how he was able to come up with that because we were all looking around trying to figure out where it was. You got the blue sky up there. He's able to pick it out at the last moment, make the lunge for it. What an excellent out.
And there's a ball low on the first pitch to Kyle Hess. And yeah, big assist goes to the dugout, yelling at him, trying to tell him where that ball was.
I mean, yeah, we didn't realize it was in play until they started yelling either.
That one's low, 2-0 to Hess, who flew out to center and lined out to short in his 2 at-bats this evening. It's a late cut at that one. He was definitely sitting off speed, 2-1.
So a fun story on Joe Boyle. He is actually teammates with Nico Cavadas. Both of them play together at Notre Dame, and they're living together this summer. So they got in a little couple days before the season as Boyle rips the 2-1 swing, and that'll bring the count to 2-2. They go out to try to maybe do a little fishing out on the boat. You know, plenty of little bodies of water out here that you can mess around in. And apparently the story goes Cavadas is trying to get the boat started. He's pulling on it. He can't get it, and Boyle comes over to help him, and Cavadas elbows him right in the face as Boyle rips it in there for strike 3, 2 away here. So Joe Boyle, they kind of check it out. They think he's fine. They get back to the house, and you know they're looking around. It's like, man, I think my tooth went through my lips. They take him to the hospital. He has to get stitches in his lips. So
Wow.
Fighting through a little bit of pain right now, a little bit of friendly fire from his Notre Dame teammate, but it hasn't affected him so far as he's gotten 2 up, 2 down very quickly here.
Another strikeout looking for the Braves in the first pitch to Campbell. It's fouled straight back. Campbell flew out to right in the third, grounded out to short to lead off the 6th. Six strikeouts looking for the Braves in this game. The 0-1. Nice off speed there. That kind of looked like a curveball, although you did say he didn't have a change. Maybe he's trying to work something else into his arsenal here.
Well, either the curve or the change. Either way, a lot of movement on that. But again, just the difference in velocity between the fastball and the off speed is drastic.
0-2 is fouled straight back once again.
And he's the kind of guy that will challenge you. I mean, you see right there. He goes with the fastball. He knew it. Campbell knew it. It's just a matter of whether or not he could catch up to it, and got a bat on it. See if he goes back to the fastball here. Wouldn't be too terribly surprised if we see him try to ramp up a couple extra miles an hour on this next pitch.
The 0-2 once again. Nice breaking ball, strike 3 called, and a great 8th inning there from Joe Boyle, and the Mariners will head to the 9th with a 3-1 lead here in Bourne. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on YouTube TV. To the ninth we go here from Bourne as the Mariners look to extend their 3-1 lead the top half of the inning, and they will do it against the right-hander from the University of Rhode Island, Tyler Brocious. Comes down from the submarine angle. He's got some pretty good accuracy, though, and Brocious at URI this season, a 6-2 record with a 2.27 ERA in 39 2/3 innings pitched. He's only walked 6 while striking out 32 as a member of the Rhode Island Rams.
Yeah, pretty good ratio there. And again, that submarine angle, if you can locate your pitches with it, it can be very tough to catch up to. So he will be facing off against the Harwich part of the order right there in the heart. 4, 5, 6, Kavadas, Lansley, and Malinowski.
That part of the lineup actually hitless today. The only base runner coming from Lansley, who walked and was thrown out at the plate in that mad scramble from second base. But right now it's Kavadas at the plate. 0 for 3. And the first pitch he sees from Brocious is low and outside for a ball. Kavadas popped out to third, flew out to left, and grounded out to third. Brocious delivers. It's on the inside corner for a strike.
Yep, and the arm angle changes the spin just a little bit. You get a different look, if you will, from every pitch, a slightly different angle. It can be tough to recognize Kavadas trying to step back in and avoid going 0 for 4 here.
Brocious from the stretch. And that sinker's going to be low. Very popular pitch with Submariners is that sinking fastball.
Yep, a little bit of late action. Just kind of falls off of a table right before it gets to home plate. And you got to be aware of that as a hitter. You got to know where it's going to go to.
The 2-1. That one's in there, 2-2. You look at the very few Submariners in the majors right now. Pat Nashek, and I'm not sure if he still is, Darren O'Day, two of the masters of that sinker ball. The 2-2 to Kavadas. Here it is. And it's a backdoor slider at the knees for strike 3. What a location there from Brocious, and that's one down.
Yep, just excellent location. Not a whole lot they were going to do about that. That'll bring up Chris Lansley. Today is 0 for 2. Strikeout, a walk, and a ground out back in the second.
And Shaw, who pitched the inning before, one clean inning, gave up a single. No runs allowed. Didn't walk anyone, didn't strike anyone out either. So now Lansley, the chopper foul, 0-1. And yeah, not a lot from the heart of the lineup here, but credit to the 7, 8, 9 hitters, have all 3 runs in this game for the Mariners.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been getting the runs in, and they've been helped out by the top part of the order. Just the middle that needs to catch up a little bit in this game.
Sinker misses inside, 1-1. And I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Englert putting a ton of righties towards the bottom of the lineup with Domkowski on the mound. And that, I think, was big for the Mariners. As time is granted before the 1-1. Lansley batted third in the Falmouth game. In the 5 spot this time, the pitch misses outside.
From University of Rhode Island, number 8, Tyler Brocious.
So with one away here, we get the pitching update from the PA booth. But yeah, Brocious has started off pretty good here. Tyler's the first guy on a strikeout. Every pitcher who's pitched in this game so far, regardless of innings, has 2 strikeouts today.
Ground ball to third. Tough play, a long throw, and a great throw at that by the third baseman, Morissette. What a cannon there. And there's out number 2.
And you could just kind of tell that he had that kind of arm, how casually he picked up that ball. He knew he had him at first and was able to make an excellent throw across the diamond.
It was looking like Matt Chapman there on that play, that strong throw, that laser from third to first. And with 2 away, it'll be Malinowski batting. With a lefty, by the way, warmed in the pen for the Mariners. So we'll have to see who might come on for the 9th. As it's a chopper foul. But, I mean, I don't think you can rule out the fact that Boyle could make a return here in the 9th the way you pitched that 8th.
Well, absolutely. And we got confirmation. We got the scout sitting to the left of us, and we had somebody watching the gun for us. He was getting up on the velocity upwards of 98 miles an hour on those pitches. So I mean, he has been absolutely lighting it up. We knew he had the potential to do it. We wondered if he would. He absolutely has.
Nice sinker there from Brocious for strike 2. Malinowski, a couple of groundouts to the pitcher, and in between a strikeout swinging in the 4th. It's a tough day at the plate for the designated hitter. The 0-2 is a high pop-up into shallow left. Backpedaling is Williams, and he ducks out of the way smartly so Rivoli can make the catch, and that will end the top of the 9th. We head to the home half of the final inning, and the Mariners look to hold on to secure their first victory of the 2019 CCBL season. Stay tuned for the bottom of the 9th. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live. Bottom of the 9th here as we are live from Upper Cape Tech Vocational High School, where the Bourne Braves, the hometown team, trailing 3-1 to the Harwich Mariners, and Joe Boyle looking to get the 2-out save here for the Mariners, and he will be greeted by the leadoff man, Noah Bridges, who is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts in this one. First pitch to Bridges is in the dirt for ball 1.
Yep, and again, we're going to see the velocity coming hard and fast out of Joe Boyle. Talked about it before the last break, getting upwards of 98 miles an hour on that fastball on the official gun to the left of us.
The 0-1, there it is. Probably in the upper 90s, in there for strike 1.
And I mean, it doesn't matter what team you're on, what level you're at. You're not used to seeing that outside of Major League Baseball for the most part. Kind of just shaking it off and shaking his head right now is Noah Bridges.
Ball's in the dirt, 2-1. You think of kind of those types of right-handers that throw that type of gas. And, of course, I mean, if you could develop a curveball, one guy I can really think of, and it fits because he's wearing number 32, is right here in Boston, Matt Barnes. He's got a pretty healthy fastball, and he's got a nasty curveball. If he could develop a curveball, boy, he will be really untouchable. The 2-1. Outside, 3-1.
Well, and you look at the kind of story that Joe Boyle's had, kind of reminds you also of Kelvin Herrera, a guy that was able to throw straight gas, just had to find a way to locate it, and that's kind of been the big challenge for Boyles, just putting that pitch in the zone. But if he can settle down, a big, big tool.
And there's a fastball that is fouled straight back by Bridges. So the count is now full. Once again, these two teams scheduled to play each other tomorrow, but a lot of rain in the forecast, so not entirely sure if we'll be able to get that game in. But if so, we will have video with that one at home at White House Field. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3, and Boyle with his 3rd strikeout in 4 batters, 1 away in the 9th.
Yeah, Boyle is absolutely cruising. You mentioned that he's retired the last 4 in a row. So far, the only 4 that he's faced, and 3 of those, the last 3 have been on strikeouts. So now Cody Morissette will take his hacks. He's already struck out twice today, reached on an air back in the 4th.
Yeah, that was a ground ball over to the left side where Fedco had trouble making the play to the left of Fedco. And there's a strike. I'm sure that's one that Christian thinks he wishes he could have had back, but didn't really do any harm as the next batter, Williams, who's on deck, flew out. The 0-1. Curveball breaks into the zone for strike 2.
Yep, and again, maybe a curve, maybe a change, but either way, a big difference, big drop off in speed. and that's been tough for hitters to catch up with. We'll see if he plays with him here. It goes right at him with the 0-2 count.
Here it is. Fastball just misses the low and inside corner, 1-2.
And I'll tell you what, that's not one you're going to wear to take down to first base. I don't care whether you think it's a strike or whether you think it's an off-speed or his fastball. When you're going against a guy who throws 98, you're getting out of the way.
Here's the 1-2, and very late on that swing was Morissette. He just kind of was looking to stay alive there. Morissette, a BC Eagle, ready for the 1-2. And Boyle delivers, and it is just upstairs for a ball, 2-2. From the stretch, once again, Boyle the pitch upstairs, and for the second time this inning, the count has been worked full.
Yep, definitely. He's working all over the zone, trying to make sure that, he's not giving anything too easy. You want to talk about an ideal pitch to try to hit out. Be a 98-mile-an-hour fastball somewhere missed in the zone.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The fifth strikeout, or excuse me, the fourth strikeout, I believe, from Boyle.
Not bad on the shortstop from Arizona
And that is
State,
out number 2.
25,
All
Malika
three out of 4 of them being swinging, so he's getting those guys to miss those fastballs.
Yep, and now Harwich is on the doorstep of breaking even at 1-1 to start their season.
Mariners, one of 3 teams coming into today without a win in the East. And the first pitch misses. 1-0 to Alika Williams, who has flown out 3 times in this game. Boyle once again from the stretch, a swing and a miss on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, and even with all the excellent pitching in the Pac-12, Williams, not a guy who's seen a lot of velocity like this. One of those top teams, of course, being UCLA, who ASU was able to steal a game from.
That fastball just misses outside, 2-1. Curtis on deck. He would be the tying run should Williams reach base. The 2-1 is in there. A nice off-speed pitch from Boyle, 2-2.
Yep, and Williams just kind of sitting dead red on that the entire way, but unable to even pull the trigger. Bat left on his shoulder, and now he's 1 strike away from walking away 0-2.
Here's the 2-2, fouled off.
And I love this for Boyle. Every single time he gets that second strike, it's right to the fastball. He is going to challenge every single guy he faces in this lineup. Alika Williams is no different, and we'll see if he goes to the off-speed here or ramps up the fastball again to try to put him away.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Harwich Mariners have their first victory of the 2019 season. They knock off the Bourne Braves in Bourne by a final score of 3-1. And getting the save in a 2-inning effort is Joe Boyle as he strikes out 5 of the 6 batters he faces, and his teammates are out to give him some high fives and congratulatory words as the Mariners are 1-1 on the season.
Yep, absolutely a great win for Harwich, and they did it in about the best way possible. Got a little look at a couple guys in the bullpen. For as incredible as Joe Boyle's performance was tonight, let's not forget about Tommy Vail, who came in and had 4 strikeouts of his own through 2 innings. An excellent start out of Connor Seckler. They're able to take advantage of him and what he brings to the table before he heads to Team USA. And the offense came alive as well. Got a home run in the 7th off of Jackson Greer and a couple of runs in the 3rd. Harwich able to hang on and pick up their first victory of the year by a final score of 3-1.
All right, we will take a brief break and then wrap it up here from Bourne. Once again, final score in this one, Harwich 3, Bourne 1. You've been listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on YouTube Live. Back here one last time from Bourne following a 3-1 victory for the Harwich Mariners as they improved to 1-1 on the season. The Braves now fall to 0-2. Winning pitcher in this game, Connor Seckler, who went 5 innings, giving up 2 hits with 1 run that was earned. Didn't walk anyone, and he struck out 5 in a pretty impressive start from Seckler. Losing pitcher Nick Domkowski, who went 4 innings, allowing 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. Walked 2 and struck out 3, and the save goes to Joe Boyle, who probably had the best performance out of the bullpen out of anyone in this game, going 2 innings to get the save, striking out 5 in an impressive showing from the Notre Dame righty. Once again, this has been the Harwich Mariners here on YouTube Live, alongside Tyler Henry, and with my great producer to my right here, Matt Lucy. Got a little tongue-tied here. I'm Colin Casey. Thanks for joining us this evening. Go Bruins, I should say, for those Boston fans listening. And we will see you next time, hopefully tomorrow, as the Mariners and Braves are scheduled to play once again. We'll have to see if the weather permits. But once again, whenever the next time may be, so long, and thanks for tuning in.